happens for a reason. Well, there may have been a series of things that I could have done to avoid a bad situation, or I could have intervened, but you know what, I didn't, and maybe everything happens for a reason. If you want it to be, it can be a way to overlook your own failures, someone else's failures, a failure in the system that may not be anyone you know, but you don't have an incentive to identify because maybe you like certain people or you like certain causes or ideas or whatever. And so you say, well, there's just a series of other factors here that really explain it, and, you know, I can't really understand it, but this is how life works. No, you can understand it. You're just choosing not to. With all of these things, like, and I don't know what happened in the case of losing a spouse, which has to be the worst thing.
Have you business with me?
Losing a kid might be worse, but it's up there. And so I tell you sincerely, I'm terribly sorry to hear about your situation.
Never find you.
And if understanding that there's just a violent, complex world out there that takes loved ones from us without us ever really having a chance to stop it or to understand it or to live in those spaces, I get that completely. But be very, very careful about using, not saying you, the person who asked the question, but the proverbial you who are watching. Be very, very careful about people who rely on statements like these as camouflage, either to conceal their own failures or failures around them from you or even from themselves. I see a lot of that shit in no regrets and everything happens for a reason. It's like, yeah, but like, that's true, but that didn't have to happen here. Who got the better of sparring, Woodley or Colby? I am told Colby. I am told Colby. Luke, thank you for the MK. Thank you for your and MK content. Best MMA programming.
Click the pic.
Who do you think is Rose's biggest challenge in 2021? I don't know.
To use
Rose's biggest challenge in 2021. I get maybe.
When faced.
We'll see what Rodriguez does. Interesting one. Dern, if she can get the fight to the floor, is a problem for anybody.
Have you business with me? May the shadows never find you.
All right, almost done here. We'll call it a day. Oh, I think that's it. That's it. Okay. Well, is there anything else on this that I wanted to...
Yeah, you know, one of those side bets I got going is who's the first person who might break the rules and throw a strike. I got Petrovsky.
Yeah.
Nice day, isn't it?
But he'll end up getting cut in the process somehow as well, right? That's how it'll start. Andre will end up getting another cut under his eye. Start swinging.
Ducked in there again. But
always.
There we go.
Ball's latched onto the neck, controlling from the front.
Yeah, you see Andre trying to control that hip so that he can't spin around. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a good chance these guys could stall out quite a bit, not purposely trying to stall, but both just having really good defense.
That's the wrong target.
Start leaning on him, touch him face.
Pause brings it back to the middle. More than 2 minutes gone.
He can never take you down now.
Wow.
He realizes he can never take you down ever.
Wow. Got the corner of Hawes mic'd up, I think, accidentally.
I like it. Good to hear a little bit of the smack talk from the corner. There we go. All right, why not? Oh, watch out, camera crew. Oh, now there we go. Now he's trying to change some things together. Phil all over the single leg defense. Not gonna get sent out of the arena area here. Let's do a Kumite style, Phil. If it keeps going like this, we raise the sides of the canvas.
We spoke to El Presidente, Rob Haydack.
The knowledgeable crowd there resetting.
Oh!
Nice day, isn't it?
Does he get it though?
For Fury Grappling 4, we're gonna have a
2.
We're gonna have a moat with electric eels, so that I think that might discourage
like it,
people
yeah.
from falling off the mat.
Some crocodiles.
That's good too.
I think Andre was asking for the points to be announced there. Do we give that to him? Listen, there's been some controversy even recently when we're calling the fights in the UFC about what is a takedown and what isn't, and how we score them even on our stats board.
Right.
And you know what? I just don't have the wrestling knowledge to tell you what I think. To be completely
Well,
honest.
there's takedowns, and then I think a lot of the time when it's not a takedown, it's a mat return, right?
Yeah.
Like if you lift the guy up and put him down, but he
pops
pops right back up.
Even if you step back,
You goes down, Yerk. Safe travels,
Working
David.
from his back here now.
Only serve the freshest ingredients.
As I said, the wrestling kind of a bit of a
Only
stalemate in
serve the
that
freshest
position.
ingredients.
Oh,
He's
you're right,
bleeding. What
there's
did I
the
say?
blood.
What did I tell
Thanks
you?
for your
bleeding?
business.
You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Right,
Greetings.
repause in the action to get that blood addressed there.
Yes? Speak up.
While we wait, let's bring in our man Jay Regabuto. Jay, what are you seeing out of this match so far?
I'll tell you what, I love that Mr. Hawes decided to just stay on the ground and not really like that takedown. And I'll tell you, it didn't look like Shaolin was going to give him the single on that restart. And he did, and Hawes just went up and gave him his leg, like, okay, go ahead, restart with it. And after Petrosky got the takedown, I like that Hawes stayed down and let the jiu-jitsu action start. That's pretty cool. He knows it's what the fans want to see. Excited to see them back on the feet, though. I'm enjoying this wrestling.
Be careful over there. You're pretty close. I mean, I can see them flying right into you, man.
You lean on him.
I think Andre got a little laugh out of the fact the doctor came to look at him. He's like, you understand what I do for a living?
Yeah.
This is not bad for me.
Don't let him go. Let's bully him here.
Andre looking strong, though.
Let's tap into UFC Fight Pass for live fights every single weekend for 2022. Get the best in global combat sports, in-depth original shows, and see the next wave of MMA stars before anyone else. Download the UFC app and sign up for UFC Fight Pass today.
Ion has led with me.
You got to sign up right now because we've got a stacked main card
3
coming
minutes,
to you.
Phil. Let's work now.
There's a special holiday deal where you
Let's
can get
go for
half
fight
off
for
the
3.
first month. So head over to UFCFightPass.com/sign-up so you can redeem that offer. The Fury professional grappling action continues.
Let's bully him a bit.
It's interesting when you get 2 mixed martial artists in there and they're just
3
working
minutes.
on one discipline, right? Obviously, there's wrestling, there's jiu-jitsu. So, you know, maybe we'll say 2, but this is a jiu-jitsu grappling competition. And it's interesting to see a lot of the times they'll get a stalemate like this, right?
Yeah. Like, how do you pick a winner based on what we've seen so far?
Well, that's why I'm not a judge.
Yeah, me neither, buddy. No, thank you.
I'll tell you when they get it wrong.
Yeah, I'll be the first to judge.
I'll judge the judges.
I'll judge them.
2.5 minutes remaining, as you said. An opportunity here to make a statement with those judges.
But also the rules we have, where we're not diving on legs, we're not doing reaping and doing inside and outside ankle locks and stuff like that. Like I think that really makes it more interesting, and you're going to see battles like this.
2 minutes, Phil. 2 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
I think he's just close to a mic is our situation.
Yes.
Petrosky diving again there, but
He's loves the single leg attack. But right now, he's got to be careful because Phil's going to spin around, try to get the back. Nice job avoiding that, and right back up to their feet. Yeah, I think with only 1:45 left, this is what we're going to see from these guys.
Yeah, but I like that Petrosky's going for it. You know, he
Trying to
just
get it, yeah.
dove on an ankle. You know, I like to see that. You're not going to see that in UFC often.
there he goes again.
Unless it's Andre. That boy will shoot single legs. When that last fight in Abu Dhabi, he had me nervous. Oh, okay, here we go. A little guard play here from Petrosky. Phil puts him on his back.
Yeah, it was a nice roll there as Hawes tried to take his back.
And this is where it's really important to pass. And you can hear his coach saying, okay, let's really be aggressive with the pass because that's what you're grappling. There's no ground and pound for you to worry about here.
You got to better your position.
You need to better your position. Otherwise, you are stalling in this sport. In my opinion.
1 minute remaining here. Hawes on top. What can he do with it? He tries to pass there.
Yeah. I think he can get around
Ion
this.
has
1
led
minute,
with me.
Phil. Let's get active. Aggressively pass. Let's go. Jump and shoot.
I'm working as hard as I can, Coach.
There we go.
Thank you.
He's pretty much through. It's Andre just pushing on the face right now, trying to get his hips back under him a little bit.
30 seconds, Phil. Let's get past it. Let's look at
Hear the clapper there. That means 30 seconds remaining.
Well, we talk about a lot in MMA, right, Paul? Like, this is a dominant position when you're on top of a guy.
Yeah.
You know, but jiu-jitsu is a little bit different, obviously, because there's so many things Andre Petroski could do to Phil Hawes right here. You got to open up his guard
Yeah,
to
it's
do
totally
it.
different.
But,
Yeah, it's just they've just switched positions, really, when you think about it. It's who is working, who's more active from that particular spot. Yeah, it's completely different.
What fun.
Interesting call here for the judges. Let's see which way they lean.
Judges, pick your winner. Your winner out of the green corner, Andre Petroski.
Andre Petroski, excellent. Jay Regabuda, what do you like? Is that a good decision?
It was a good decision. Petroski was in deep on a few singles there. Paul, you brought it up too, the side, that he doesn't miss any leg days. I don't think Hawes does either, because every time he was in on a single, man, that just Hawes able to sprawl back. But yeah, I think that was the right decision. I think he was more aggressive on the looking for the takedowns. Got in deep on some singles, just hard to defend against the former Iowa wrestler.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of these replays. This was a hard one to call. Glad I'm not a judge, but you take a look at some of the action here. There's Petroski pushing the action, trying for that single that Paul Felder says he loves. You see Phil Hawes right here. He's pulling guard almost, doing a butt scoot, trying to get inside. A lot of scrambles like this, a lot of fun stuff. And here, possibly best move of the entire fight.
He gets this trip for a second, right?
Yep.
Now he doesn't. How much control does he get? See, this is where he doesn't continue. I don't know.
Well, when you're scoring such a razor thin decision like this, I think I could see that being
that's what matters.
For Andre, And then we end the match with Phil Hawes on top and Andre Petroski's closed guard. But it's not enough to get the victory, and it goes to Andre.
Fun stuff. All right, main card on Fight Pass. You're running out of time to sign up, to log in. This is our feature prelim. And how fun is this? The Trailblazer, Kevin Holland against Cody Hamra. Daniel Gracie.
First out of the green corner, weighing in at 174.5 pounds, representing Daniel Gracie, BJJ. Out of Middlesex, New Jersey, Cody Hamra.
Cody Hamra, we saw him here at Fury Professional Grappling 2. He got a decision win there over MMA legend Jay-Z Cavalcante. And now he's got another notable. He did get a haircut since then. Longtime wrestling coach for Damian Maya is part of his pedigree.
I am thy faithful servant.
His opponent out of the red corner, weighing in at 186 pounds, representing Travis Luter, BJJ, from Fort Worth, Texas, Kevin Holland.
Guys, how cool is this? I think people have been so intrigued by seeing Kevin Holland here. He's a Travis Luter black belt, but has openly admitted he needs to work on his grappling a little bit. Well, what better way to work on your grappling than to come do it at Fury Professional Grappling?
Putting his money where his mouth is. I love it. Boy, does he got a mouth, right?
Yeah.
Whoa, what a guy.
The kid's nuts, but he's trying to make those decisions to better himself, going out, working with DC, and recognizing that maybe his jiu-jitsu is not so much the issue that we should be. It's the wrestling and those exchanges in between. But now going against somebody who's the former wrestling coach of Damian Maya, this is a great challenge for him. And it's not a big UFC. This is the perfect opportunity. You have a big platform on a big stage for CFFC here in Cage Fury or Fury Grappling, and you're on Fight Pass and you get to go and test your skills.
Iron sharpens iron, and this is a perfect case of that. You got a guy who's a professional fighter. Kevin Holland needs to work on certain things, and competing against Cody Hamra, you can only get better.
Kevin Holland aggressive early. By the way, should be noted he does have 12 pounds at the official weigh-ins. He came in at 186. Cody Hamra was 174.5. So you can see the visual size difference there as well. There's some weight difference as well. So that could help out Kevin Holland a little bit. Hamra is a big favorite according to the odds makers, and understandably so. But as you guys said, I love the fact that Holland is in here challenging himself, just trying to make himself better, man.
Yeah. Just, you know, fighting's an interesting sport, right? We don't have an off season. There's no time to go over this technical skills where the training kind of subsides. Those off seasons are in between fights when maybe you don't have anything lined up. Guys can't just stop training, and we're seeing the evolution of the sport. Look at all of these fighters that we have on the UFC roster tonight here for Fury Grappling, because this is their off season. He's having fun, but he's working on his skills, and he still gets to entertain and be a fighter.
And he's still being a showman. How great
was that?
Still
being a maniac.
Well, is there less pressure? You know, like UFC is just so high level, high pressure situations, and I feel a lot of guys are like, oh, if I lose, it's such a step back.
Yeah.
And in this situation, in this environment, you can lose to a guy like Cody Hammer. I'm not saying Kevin Holland's going to do that, but there's really a loss here is not really a loss.
Yeah.
This is a very good example of you win or you learn.
Yes, 100%, Phil. And more importantly, too, like these guys, they get to push those skills and they still get to feel the pressure, but it's not their UFC contract on the line. It's nothing insane like that. They don't need to go on some losing streak, but yet at the same time, you're here, there's a crowd. It's for, you know, Fury and Cage Fury, who everybody knows is the organization that's going to put all these people into the UFC anyway, so you get to go have fun, grapple, and not get elbowed in the face.
Right?
The packed house here at 2300. Oh, nice snap down there.
Yeah.
Excellent work from Hammer. Holland driving him to the edge.
You hear the dulcet tones of Daniel Gracie.
Our kind is in trouble.
Many years of hearing that voice. With
Holland's
some
able to
foul
do something
language.
Yeah, he'll drop an F-bomb once or twice. But
Guess
he's
we
able to
can,
get a
right?
neutral restart, right? Smart.
Yeah. And he pushed for that, right? He was driving in to get back on those legs.
Look at all the sponsors on Kevin Holland's shorts.
He's working, man.
Yeah, I love it. UFC fighters, listen,
Yeah, they get a
can't
chance to
do
throw
that.
stuff on the
Can't
shorts.
do that there.
No comment.
But come to Fury Grappling. Whoa! Look at that, Kevin Holland drops and pulls guards.
Well, and to be fair to the UFC's credit, they're allowing them to be here, right? They want them to do this kind of stuff out on, you know, especially with some.
Don't get hot.
It's on Fight Pass.
Don't get hot. Don't get hot.
No, I'm just saying it's great. Anyway, brand.
And of course, you saw
I'm trying
Kevin
to keep my
Holland
job, Phil. You know what I'm saying?
Don't worry. You're safe, I think. You're an excellent commentator.
Make good company.
Holland working from his back right now, controlling the wrist for full guard. Opens up. Wow. Beautiful cut through there.
Oh.
Hammer. Great scramble.
On the neck. Oh, that sucks.
It's good action.
Phenomenal scramble there. As we
If only there was a
center.
fence.
Daniel Gracie literally sounding like Chubbs from Happy Gilmore, saying it's all in the hips earlier.
All right, halfway through our final prelim. Don't forget to be signed up over at UFC Fight Pass. Oh, he's grabbed the neck as he drives in. Holland trying to get a little squeeze at the edge here before they fall off the sand.
Man, we should just leave it like a street fight. Let them fight onto the table, out into the crowd. How fun would that be?
Well, we are in the former ECW arena, Paul Felder. Many a street fight has spilled out on the Swanson and
Somebody
Rittner.
was telling me, my barber was telling me there was like a bring your own weapon night years back. And
Yeah.
that didn't end well.
I think that was probably more CZW.
Oh.
Kevin Holland sits down, says Cody Hammer, come play in the guard. Tries to invert there as he comes through. Look at,
Yeah, but they're
briefly
playing.
at it.
This is what we want to see. This is great. Now he's talking trash. You got to know if you're facing Kevin Holland, if you're going to be hearing some trash talk.
Yeah, but you know it's going to happen, but it's still got to be bewildering.
Once you're in there and you're tired and he's still yapping at you, it's got to be a bit frustrating. There you go. Man, he is scrambling. He's working in there. Nice job from both men, but you know, Kevin Holland's got to be happy with that little push to the face.
The showmanship continues. I want to bring in Jay Ragagudo. Jay, obviously Holland a big underdog in this matchup. What do you think about his performance thus far?
I think it's been such an exciting match so far. I'll tell you, it's difficult for somebody like Hammer, who's so used to wrestling wrestlers, to wrestle somebody, an MMA guy, who, look how hard it's been for him to try to take him down. You know what I mean? And I love Holland's approach of wrestling up, sitting to that guard position and trying to wrestle up from there. And then Hammer from this top position, I think he had a better luck like standing rather than trying to fight through this closed guard where you're allowing Holland to kind of use his legs. So far, really, really exciting match.
Yeah, it's been funky so far, man. Kevin Holland at least came here ready to, oh, got to be careful with that elbow, but.
I like how Holland's constantly moving. You see him, he's getting on his hip. He's not staying on his back. He's not trying to acquiesce to the position. Listen, Hammer's like a wet blanket when he's on top of you, so it's impressive that Holland's able to just move and look at this, he reguards.
More than a minute and a half remaining here. It's been solid action for both. You see Hammer trying to cut through there with the left knee.
Yeah, you heard Daniel yelling for double unders, but Kevin hears it as well.
Great awareness there to roll.
It's interesting how Holland attacks. Like, you know, there's maybe 10% of an omoplata there. He's throwing up his legs, going for triangles and everything.
Yeah, just always threatening, trying to give you some idea of something coming at you. Oh.
Listen, I saw a lot of people questioning why Kevin Holland was even here. I think he's answered the critics very well. He's shown himself pretty well thus far.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you gotta realize, you're seeing snippets of him in MMA competition where he's fighting violent guys trying to take his head off for half the round as well, not just trying to roll with him. So he gets an opportunity tonight where he can be loose, be free, and do stuff where he couldn't afford to do that against a high-level fighter who's gonna put a hole through his head.
Yeah. Hammer did something really, really interesting there. Holland's been scoring with the Granby rolls left and right, you know, to scramble and better his position. And Hammer hooked his leg, stopped him from rolling.
I don't know if that was a side kick or.
Oh, look at that!
Oh!
Wow! Kevin Holland, always bringing the action. Final seconds here.
I'm bringing Kevin Holland to AEW. Let's go.
Seriously.
Yeah.
He's got the mouth for it too, right?
He does. I could have him managing wrestlers.
Oh, man.
Have a whole stable of guys. Yeah. He would love it.
That was fantastic. I mean, listen, I was super intrigued by this. I wasn't sure how he was going to fare, but, man, Kevin Holland, I hope he's on every one of our cards moving forward. That was great. Let's take a look and see what the judges say and who's walking away with the win.
Judges, pick your winner. Your winner out of the green corner, Cody Humra.
Good show of sportsmanship right there. You see guys shake hands and hug. Fair call, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think it's one of those things, I don't know, right?
I wouldn't have hated if it went the other way, if I'm being honest with you.
Sure.
Kevin was definitely aggressive.
Replays right here. You see some of this action is Kevin Holland pulling guard right here. Look at all these switches, these step throughs. Positions gained, positions lost, almost falling off the platform. Kevin Holland grabbing on Hammer's neck. This is great. Look at right here, big move in the match. Huge slam, almost from a fireman's position as Kevin Holland tried to jump guillotine on Cody Hamra. But there it is, what it's all about. Guys smiling, having fun.
He just asked me thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you think? And thumbs up, bro. What are you talking about? You went for it against a stud grappler as well. I mean, you had fun out there, and you're working on your skills. That's what matters.
Amazing stuff. All right, we're going to get to the main card, guys. UFC Fight Pass is running a special holiday deal where all new subscribers get half off the first month. Woo. Head to UFCFightPass.com/signup and hurry to redeem this limited offer. And I mean hurry, because we got the main card coming up. It is stacked. Fury Professional Grappling 3.
That's an invalid card.
This is as real as it gets, and it's mind-blowing.
I love everything about that fight.
These are the moments that the fighters live for. I can't wait. Oh, kicked him in the face. Oh, Rose.
We will all witness a piece of UFC history.
Watch this, and you just go, holy shit.
Master, teach me Kung Fu.
One of the most epic fights. There's nothing I do better in this life than fighting.
Unbroken, baby. This team is unbroken. We have a sport with some of the best athletes in the world.
Boom!
One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see.
Oh!
UFC has never been stronger.
It does not get any better. Ah, that is good. This is a crazy sport, ladies and gentlemen.
I am but a faithful servant.
We've never seen anything like this before. Who's the real problem for Francis Ngannou?
Moreno is the undisputed flyweight champion!
Davison Figueiredo wants that title back.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, playing host to Fury Professional Grappling 3. What a way this is going to be to wrap up the year. I've been looking forward to this night for so incredibly long. And now here we are inside 2300 Arena. My name is John Morgan. CM Punk is with me as always. And we got a special guest with us tonight. The Irish Dragon is here, Paul Felder as well. You know it's a big event when we're bringing in the special guest. And man, look, some people are saying it's the biggest grappling event of the year. Some people are saying it's the greatest submission grappling event of all time. We've got 12 UFC fighters on the fight card tonight, including a former UFC champion. This thing is stacked top to bottom. And how about this main event? Danielle Kelly, Punk, somebody we've seen here on the Fury match.
Yeah, listen, this is the third Fury professional grappling event, and when we've needed a main eventer, we've called on Danielle Kelly, and she never disappoints. She has 2 huge wins over IBJJF world champions, but also, talking about UFC fighters, she has wins over flyweight Cynthia Calvillo and Roxanne Modafferi when it comes to grappling.
Danielle Kelly, the real deal for sure. We have seen it right here. She is spectacular. But look who she's taking on, the former champ, Carla Esparza.
I mean, when Rose fell out, this is the perfect replacement, and the second best, like you talked about earlier, Phil, the second best, somebody that should be challenging for the belt, who has a win over Rose Namajunas on the ground as well with a rear naked choke, and she is such a strong wrestler. She's been in there with some of the best women in the absolute world. To see her going against such a stud grappler like Danielle Kelly, it's main event written all over it, baby.
Unbelievable. As you said, Danielle Kelly, the submission ace, Carla Esparza, the great grappling. We'll see her top game for sure. Should be noted with these UFC athletes, no heel hooks in these matchups. In fact, the main event, no leg locks at all. So that really changes the thing for Danielle Kelly. I think that really switches it up a little bit. I think it makes it kind of interesting. We'll talk about that as the night wears on, but I think kind of evens things out for the UFC fighters a little bit. That's our main event. How about the co-main event? It could be a main event as well, right? We're talking about Sean Brady, the undefeated UFC welterweight. Craig Jones, one of the greatest grapplers of all time. Sean Brady, the real deal.
Brickhouse Brady, that is your name, Sean. I've made it here official. But this guy is the strongest person that I have ever grappled with. He's so physical. He's just a little fire plug of a guy. And once he gets a hold of you, whether it's your neck, your back, he's going to hurt it. But he's going against such a stud grappler. This is a perfect opportunity for somebody like Sean Brady, who's been tearing through the UFC. He's a ranked welterweight in the organization. Coming off of a big win with Michael Chiesa, this is a great thing for him to showcase his skills on the mat. It's win-win for him, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think grappling fans need no introduction to this man. This man, Craig Jones, who Brickhouse is competing against tonight. He's the best of the best. Former Danaher Death Squad competitor.
Yes.
This guy is the real deal. He's coming in a little bit bigger as we're going to take a look at these weigh-in shots right here. Kind of shockingly bigger. I don't know if it's just he's taller. He looks maybe, you know, weight-wise, it says it's only about 7 pounds. I don't know about that. He looks a lot bigger. Maybe he's rehydrated. I'm not sure. But I think the interesting part of this grappling match is he's not going to be able to go to his bread and butter. Most of Craig's wins come from the inside and the outside heel hook. Sean doesn't have to worry about that. I think that evens the playing field.
Yeah, unbelievable. As you said, the kind of the face-off there, we enjoyed seeing it. I was a little surprised at the size difference as well, but fantastic matchup. Listen, we got a stacked card. We got a stacked lineup of broadcasters, too. How about Jay Ruckabuda? Tell us what we're going to be seeing tonight, Jay.
Thank you, John. Guys, what an exciting night for grappling and MMA fans to end the year. Such a huge card. I'll tell you what, let's go over the rules and let's get to the action. All right, so there'll be no striking of any kind tonight, obviously. All matches are going to be submission only unless the time expires. Then it will go to a judge's decision to decide the winner. All submissions will be legal except for heel hooks for UFC athletes. And honestly, I really feel like that rule is very important to continue the cross-promotion of MMA and grappling together in events like this. To check out all the rules, though, you can go to furygrappling.com.
Thank you, Jay. We'll be checking in with you throughout the night, of course. And, man, we talked about the main event. It was great, the co-main event. But it is a stacked lineup top to bottom. Look at these names. The future Hall of Famer, Cowboy Cerrone, is in there against Joe Solecki. Bill Quarantillo versus Clay Guida. A lot of people have that one circled as a potential match of the night. You know it's going to be all action. It just keeps going. Renato Moicano, Chase Hooper. Nicky Rod is here against Steve. I mean, look, it's just stacked. I can't even talk about it anymore. Let's just get straight to it. Let's get our first athletes walking to the mat, because even this one is a stacked lineup. Bruce Leroy himself, Alex Caceres against the Taino Warrior, Eddie Torres to start things out. Of course, Eddie was supposed to fight for the CFFC title a couple weeks ago, didn't get to do that, but now he is here on the Fury Professional
The following
Grappling
bout
mat.
is brought to you by Turk Boys. Out of the green corner, weighing in at 156.5 pounds. Representing Hidden Lotus and Zen Jiu-Jitsu out of Miami, Florida, Alex Caceres.
Bruce Leroy, currently ranked number 15 in the official featherweight rankings of the UFC. He's got a 5-fight winning streak right now. It includes submission wins over Sungwoo Choi, Austin Springer. I mean, the guy seems like he's been in the UFC forever, and he just keeps showing new wrinkles to his game.
He's so underrated, Alex Caceres, when it comes to his skills as a fighter, yet alone his grappling. I'm so glad he's here doing this.
Gotta wait for the beat to drop.
Out of the red corner, he weighed in at 163.5 pounds. Representing Daniel Gracie, BJJ, out of Vega Alta, Puerto Rico, Eddie Torres.
The man knows how to make an entrance. The Taino Warrior, I know how disappointed he was to not get to fight for the CFFC title a few weeks back, but now here he is again. against Bruce Leroy, kicking things off on the main card. I mean, what an opportunity for him.
Not a bad consolation prize, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
I know that CFFC title shot is going to come, but this is a great way to test your skills. You know, Alex Caceres is a vet, and he is where Eddie Torres wants to be. So to test your skills against somebody that is where you want to go, I think is a tremendous consolation prize to not getting that title shot.
100%. I was just thinking the same thing. It's like you're battling so that you can get that UFC contract, right? You've got to win the CFFC belt. You've got to prove that you belong in the bigger show. And what chance that you get Alex Caceres, who's on a huge win streak.
Underrated grappler.
Well, he's got to be careful of his neck right here.
Danger early there. Torres able to get away from it. Continues to hold on to that single. See, we'll have 8-minute matches all night long, except for our main event, which will be 10 minutes.
Oh, look at the flexibility of Caceres.
Eddie had a hold of that ankle for a long time.
Caceres with a big smile on his face.
Oh, both guys looking for something. But they meet on the canvas. It's good.
Torres to settle into guard, working from his back. By the way, at weigh-ins, Torres was 7 pounds heavier, so you see a little bit of a size difference. It was definitely there on the scales as well.
You think 7 pounds is not a lot. But when you're staring at a man you have to, compete against, you're like, ah.
It's like, what did you weigh to get to that 7 pounds over me?
See, kind of holding on to that.
Yeah, there's no real knee bar there, the way their legs are locked up. You see, Eddie can use this. The way the Caceres' leg is twisted in, he can use that to try to hold on to that, work his way back up.
Both guys holding position right now, just looking to lock up a limb.
You see Caceres looking at that arm with Torres as well. He's going to just push out.
Eddie tried to stay there, hold on to the leg, but Caceres kicked him off.
2 minutes gone by, very competitive between these two early. Odds makers did have Torres pegged as a slight favorite, which might be a little bit surprising. Not to anybody from around here, though.
No, yeah, of course. Torres is stud on the mat.
Yes?
But you would think with the credentials of Caceres that he'd get some credit for that. Look at how he takes that back, throws in the body, trying on the neck as well, and that's sunk in.
It's not under the neck, but he's got his right hand hidden behind Eddie's head very, very well.
I'll tell you.
Torres trying to get the tap. Torres was trying to peel it away, but Punk, you touched on it. That hand was hidden so well there. And my goodness, does Bruce Leroy continue to impress us?
Yeah, and we talk about that hidden hand. You know, the first thing you got to do, you want to control the choke arm that's around your neck. But if you can't do that, you want to fight that top hand. And you can't do it if the guy hides it behind his head.
And, you know, we don't get to see that too often in MMA, right? Because the gloves are there. It's hard to get to that position. Once you do, it's usually, it's night-night most of the time. But working that hand behind the head's a little harder.
Let's get the official time to stop as Jason Lederfine.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 2 minutes 35 seconds, we have a submission due to rear naked choke. Declaring your winner by submission victory out of the green corner, Alex Caceres.
Alex Caceres, always a pleasure to watch him compete in the UFC, a pleasure to watch him here. That was a great result for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you're a UFC fighter and you're coming down to grapple at Fury Professional Grappling. You're putting it on the line. But Caceres coming out on top, showing why he's a mainstay in the UFC. And you see right here some good action. Eddie Torres in on a takedown. He's trying for a double. Can't get his arms clasped, but winds up with the right leg of Alex Caceres. Tucks it in between his legs, tries to do something with it. Both guys, it looked like Eddie was maybe going for an Imanari roll. Both guys dropped at the same time.
I am but a faithful
And then
servant.
Eddie loses position for a split second. Caceres jumps on his back and really just tucks this nice choke. And I don't think
look
it was
at how tight that is.
Yeah, but I mean, you're crushing the guy's jaw at that point. And with the way he's hiding his hand, had his palm all the way across on his opposite shoulder. Beautifully done. Nothing Eddie could do but tap.
Great work there from Alex Caceres. As he said, using the head to hide it. I mean, excellent work there. What a way to start things here at Fury Professional Grappling 3. Let's keep the action going. Stack card, we're going to keep it going here. It's the Fresh Prince, Philip Rowe. It's a 190-pound match against the Warhawk, CFFC vet Jonathan Piersma.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following bout is brought to you by RK Chevrolet. Coming up first, out of the green corner, weighing in at 187.5 pounds, representing Synthesis BJJ, out of Rochester, New York, Jonathan Piersma.
Jonathan Pierce will be a familiar face to CFFC fans. He's got a 2-0 record under the CFFC banner. Had a third win as well, which was overturned to a no contest. But he's got a submission threat for sure. A rear naked choke, an omoplata, a guillotine in his MMA record so far. Anxious to see what he does here tonight. Let's meet his opponent.
And his opponent, out of the red corner, weighing in at 191 pounds, representing Fusion XL, out of Brooklyn, New York, Philip Rowe.
Fresh Prince making quite the entrance here.
Wearing the GOAT, Michael Jordan 23. He's all over the place. Brooklyn, New York, trains in Florida, wearing the Chicago colors.
Fresh Prince.
I like it.
I love it. You've seen him in the UFC, of course. 1-1 record in the promotion. Started out his MMA career 0-2, but he's 8-1 since, so it's really turned the corner, and the Fresh Prince is on the mats.
And I've talked to Phil Rowe many times. Jiu-jitsu is where he started. This is where he loves to be. He knows he's known for his hands and his boxing, but submission grappling is definitely something he likes to compete in and stay busy at.
8 minutes on the clock. Very competitive matchup according to the odds makers. Piersma was just a slight favorite over Phil Rowe, but we just saw the underdog Bruce Leroy get it done earlier tonight.
A lot of hand fighting to start off.
Phil Rowe's 6'3". See the height advantage there over Piersma at 5'11". He can use that range to his advantage at all.
Rowe pulls guard, Piersma on top and half guard down. This is another interesting matchup because you got a guy in Jonathan Piersma who wants to be where Phil Rowe is. And look at this, he's diving on this neck.
Looking for the early squeeze. You said Piersma had a 31-second victory at CFFC 101 earlier this year. That was later turned to a no contest. Rowe's able to pop his head out there. You can see Piersma will attack.
Phil's got the underhook on the proper side there. Just needs to try to, easier said than done.
Flattened out right now.
Needs to get to a hip and get Piersma off.
He's got to try to frame. He's got to get some space there. You see Piersma's just head resting right on the chest and jaw area, pushing down. The way he's got his legs here, he's just pushing all his pressure and body weight on top of Phil right now.
And you think Phil's just kind of waiting for Piersma to give him a little bit of a gap,
yeah,
so
right,
he can shoot that underhook?
He's not worried about getting hit down here, so it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to waste my energy and spaz out quite now. I got 8 minutes to work, and maybe he wants to be on his back, just not in this particular position. Obviously, this is an advantage at all.
Advantage appears.
And advantageous?
That's a word. Yeah, that's a word.
2 minutes gone by here. Piersma continues to stay in that top position. You say kind of very heavy. Not really giving any space for Rowe to work at all.
Well, we heard our first stand him up. I was about to bring it up. Like, at what point
did somebody just say stand him up?
Yeah, somebody in the polite Philly crowd.
Doesn't surprise me.
Let's take it to our man Jay Rugabula, who can maybe answer that for us. Jay, when do we look for a stand-up in positions like this?
So, man, I guess when the crowd gets too angry, I guess then you have to, right? But I'll tell you, Philly Fresh here was using that lockdown. But Piersma has some interesting entanglements here with the legs where he's really controlling now. He's got that leg free. But if Rowe could get a butterfly hook in with that right leg, it would allow the elevation from that lower half of the body where you don't have to worry so much about the upper half. But now he's got to fight off this Kimura from Piersma. And both these guys have a ton of regular grappling experience too.
Yeah.
Like Philip Rowe has competed against like Gordon Ryan, Cody Steele, Gabriel Checo in actual grappling matches, and Piersma stays on the local grappling scene as well.
Yeah, I knew when I talked to Phil, he mentioned that this is a love of his. He loves to grapple and started MMA, and know, obviously you got to start working your striking. Man, got hands on him as well.
Well, it's interesting, right? Like, these guys would be in the gym doing this for free, but they're here, they're live on Fight Pass at CFFC or at Fury Grappling. And
Thursday night? Yeah, I'd be grappling anyway.
They're getting paid to do it, you know?
Great opportunity, and I love the fact there's so many UFC fighters on this card. You see Piersman going to work. Continues to work there for side control. Having a hard time grappling tonight, January 22nd. It's UFC 270, the big one. The former teammates, Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane, of course. Moreno versus Figueiredo 3 out in Anaheim. UFC 270 only on pay-per-view. Great way to start the year in Anaheim. Looking forward to that card.
Can I put y'all on the spot? Who you got in that main event?
Woo! I like where it's going right now.
Really?
Do you base that, though, on the sparring footage that you saw?
Ion's greatest gift.
A little bit, of course, I agree.
Safe travels.
When was that sparring footage from?
A long time ago,
yeah,
when Francis and Gane were obviously still training together under the same coach. And yeah, it's sparring, right? But Gane clearly looking to be in control of a lot of that footage. But it seems it's all strategic head games. I like it, though. Makes it interesting. And Gane is elusive and difficult to deal with.
I was going to
100%.
say, and let me clarify, by the way, Francis, if you're watching, I meant to say Francis.
Yes, don't come at me.
Well, that's who I got. I got Francis.
Although I don't want Gane knocking on my door either, pissed off. Although he seems very, we could have an espresso together and maybe a poisson, and I think we'd be good to go. Whereas Francis, I don't know.
In the meantime, Jonathan Piersman continues to dominate from the top position
anyway,
here.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah.
As I expected at some points tonight.
Oh, we know you two guys.
You haven't seen nothing yet. We're still early.
Just get going. But no, seriously, I know he's working with Eric Nixick too, and Eric's always pushing him in his wrestling department and just being a better martial artist. So if Francis can start to really get more and more comfortable, which we did see in that Stipe fight, we saw much more control. If he can do that, he's a scary guy to deal with.
Yes, he is. One-shot power.
Yeah, Piersman trying to advance position here. Still on top of Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe underneath on his right hip. Trying to, it looks like he maybe got a leg. I don't know.
Yes?
A little under 2 minutes remaining. If you're Phil Rowe, I mean, you kind of got to go for broke at this point, right? You got to do something.
Absolutely.
It's been frustrating.
He's just getting controlled. Absolute pressure.
He's defending. Piersman's not really able to set up any big submission attacks. He had a Kimura tied up at one point. He's in full side control now.
Did you see him trying to hoist that arm up and get control of that left arm? But I mean, Phil's well aware of that.
Yeah, he keeps moving almost to north-south, trying to tie up the arm.
Briefly had the knee on the belly there, couldn't quite advance.
Yeah, Phil's just doing a good job of moving.
So much shoulder pressure. Shoulder pressure is insane. Top position.
Such a basic component, right? But when it's done correctly, it changes everything.
This makes it so difficult. Because you're always told, oh, get space, push on the hips, get separation. It's like, yeah, but sometimes they're just really strong.
Coach, I'm stapled to the floor.
You know, grappling with Sean Brady, for example, you got guys in your corner. You know, everybody's out. Daniel yelling, Paul, you need separation. Like, no, SHIT. You know, I need separation. I can't get it. That's why I retired.
Piersman briefly had a gift wrap there, tried to step over as well. Rowe was able to work back to guard, but from pulling guard early, he hasn't been able to do much from his back. You hear the clapper there, 30 seconds remaining of a match that's just seen a whole lot of top control from Jonathan Piersman.
Yeah, full guard by Rowe now on the bottom. Looking to try to maybe stand up.
I am but a faithful servant.
Bump pass.
Yeah, too little.
Yeah,
he's got controlled.
Maybe something flying here right at the end. Why not? Final seconds ticking off the clock. Piersman shoots there at the end, and you can see a little bit of frustration there from Phil Rowe. Made quite the entrance, but wasn't able to get quite as much done on the canvas. But listen, Jonathan Piersman, named that, you know, if you're a CFFC fan, you know maybe most MMA fans weren't, but a very talented grappler, and I think he was able to show it there. We'll take it to our judges and get the decision.
Judges, pick your winner. your winner out of the green corner, Jonathan Piersma.
No surprise there, Punk, the Warhawk proves victorious.
Yeah, no shock, and I'll show you exactly why in these replays. It was pretty much all Jonathan Piersma. Just heavy top pressure, not allowing Phil to really get anything off. Early hand fighting led to this exchange that we see right here, where Phil drops, pulls guard, but doesn't get full guard, winds up half guard, and he spent most of the 8 minutes just underneath Piersma. Piersma trying to lock up a Kimura on the right arm, and it was just more of the same the later minutes of the round right here. Phil moving to, Jonathan moving to a side control. Phil doing everything he can to defend, try to stand up, wound up getting to his feet near the end, but as Paul said, a little bit too little too late.
Some fantastic grappling already on display. We've got much more coming for you. And we talk about great grapplers. How about UFC Hall of Famer, Matt Serra?
That's a familiar
You're
bit.
well, I hope.
It started off with me going into the Ultimate Fighter house on season 4 of The Ultimate Fighter, The Comeback. That show literally changed my life.
Will tonight be the
I
defining
am but a
moment of
faithful
Matt
servant.
Serra's career?
The mindset was him or me. One of us is getting taken out.
It is all over! Matt Serra has shocked the world!
If I'm remembered as getting the upset of the century and winning the welterweight title, that's great.
Unbelievable!
That year was the best year of my life.
One of the all-time greats, responsible for one of the most spectacular moments in UFC history. After tonight's matches, check out all new episodes of Year the Fighter featuring UFC legendary Hall of Famer Matt Serra's look back on the year he made the comeback of a lifetime. And about UFC 268 Watch Party. That's now streaming. It's only on UFC Fight Pass. Let's keep the action going here at Fury Professional Grappling 3. Great way to wrap up the year. How about this next matchup here for you? 180-pound action. Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation, against Joaquim Silva, Neto BJJ in an all-UFC affair.
The following bout is brought to you by Turf Boys. Introducing first out of the green corner, weighing in at 179 pounds, representing Fight Sport, out of Miami, Florida, Joaquim Silva.
Interesting matchup here. Odds makers have it just about a pick. And here's what's crazy. You hear Joaquim Silva, the UFC lightweight, he was 179 pounds. Meanwhile, Neil Magny, the UFC welterweight, was 176.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how big those guys at 155 pounds are.
Neto BJJ, former cast member on Tough Brazil 4.
His opponent out of the red corner, weighing in at 176.5 pounds, representing Elevation Fight Team out of Denver, Colorado, Neil Magny.
The Haitian sensation. You know Neil Magny just wants to compete. Anytime there's something going on in competition, he's down for it. Currently number 8 in the UFC's official welterweight rankings, and here he is on the Fury Pro Grappling mat. Started training BJJ at 17 years old. That's kind of what led him to MMA. We think about, of course, his MMA career, but it was BJJ that kind of started his path. See what he can do tonight. Obviously, Magny, the much taller man, but Silva more compact and actually a little heavier, which, again, I found incredibly intriguing.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Well, we got a stacked card tonight, and I feel like this on any other grappling show could be the main event. You know, and it's just in the middle of the show.
Incredible. Little complaint of an eye poke it looked like there, but we'll carry on.
Got to fix those gloves, man. Oh,
Even in grappling. Even in grappling.
Wrong one. Wrong night, Phil.
Taller Magny there, grabbing the back of the head.
If we just change the shape of them, maybe it would point the fingers down.
Maybe mittens.
Yeah, there you go. used to box with my older brother when we were younger, and he would wear gloves, winter gloves, doubled up.
They're padded.
Padded.
Oh,
That was the padding, and I was able to go bare knuckle because I was younger.
Oh, that's fair.
Fair fight.
Philly rules.
Magny right now putting a lot of pressure on the head. Backs away.
You know, talking about hand wraps and such. There was a famous Taipei death match in this building at one
Really?
point. Yeah. Hands dipped in the glue and the glass. It was Ian versus Axel Rotten. Oh my gosh. But now we got Magny versus Silva.
Not as hardcore, but still just as good.
Certainly not as hardcore.
That's hardcore.
I mean, maybe it's another branch of CFFC. You know, we do the.
We're seeing all kinds of fighting break out all over the world. Who knows? I don't count it out. 2022
Rob
is
Hadak,
just
he's
around the
always
corner.
looking to innovate, you know what I mean? He's always looking to innovate.
You could definitely do a dipped in glass hand wrap event.
Got a moat with electric eels and crocodiles, and now we got broken glass
we don't want
in our
anybody
hands.
trying to escape.
Think of the animals, though.
That's true. We'd get in a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Magny looking for that trip there. Continues to control the head as they move in and engage. Hasn't been able to do much with it. Silva staying in tight early. Let's bring in Jay Regabuda. Jay, what are you seeing early on here between these two?
What if the fans called for a sit down? Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
You see it a lot of collar ties. I've shared a room with Neto before in training, and he's actually incredibly aggressive. Here we go. Now he's in on a tight guillotine. Oh, man, he's got the head on the same side of the arm. He's got a good angle on this. He's gonna get it.
Oh!
Wow.
You got to call it, Jay.
Thank you, guys.
Very nice. That was perfect timing. Perfect timing to have you on the mic for that.
Head positioning. In the guillotine, he put his head on the same side of the arm that was the strangle arm. And it puts incredible pressure when you can cross your head off of that center line and put it onto the strangle arm.
Beautiful finish there. Just as we were talking about the aggression, he showed it and got the tap. Let's take it to our man, Jay Regabuda. Or Jason Liederfein.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at 2 minutes, 47 seconds. Due to guillotine choke, declaring your winner by submission victory, Joaquin Silva!
My apologies to Jason Liederfein. I was just so impressed by Jay, I wanted to have him back. Great win there, though, for Joaquin Silva.
Absolutely. UFC lightweight, tapping out a UFC welterweight. Great display of jiu-jitsu and grappling. A lot of it was contested on the feet, collar and elbow tie-ups, hand fighting. But we'll take a look at the replay. We won't replay that.
No.
Sorry, Silva. Take a look at some of the replays of this matchup right here. Collar and elbows. Guys, you know, they're hand fighting, they're swimming for positions. A nice trip attempt by Neil Magny here, but can't get Joaquin Silva to the mat. And then more collar and elbow. Here's another angle of that trip attempt. Neil tried to shoot on a leg, grabs a single. So Joaquin Silva grabs his neck and makes him pay for it. Immediate guard pull, ties up the legs. And as Jay said, he had the strangle arm on the same side and was almost on top of Neil Magny there. Good angle on the choke and got the win.
That control of the legs there was key as well. That was slick movement, man. Just one fluid movement. That was awesome. All right, action continues here at Fury Professional Grappling 3, and I'm just going to tell everybody in the front row to get ready. Big boys heading in there. 255-pound matchup between the man they call Nick Rodriguez, and tall Steve. It's Steve Mowry, the 6'8" heavyweight. It should be fun.
The following bout is brought to you by Will Hunt. Out of the green corner, weighing in at 252 pounds. Representing Sanford MMA, out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Steve Mowry.
6'8" Steve Mowry, undefeated in his MMA career, but he's got some submissions. He's not just a big boy that can throw hands. He's got 3 Kimuras, a key lock, a triangle choke, an arm triangle choke. This guy's got some grappling skills, but he is going to be challenged tonight by Nicky Rod.
His opponent out of the red corner, weighing in at 234 pounds, representing B Team Jiu-Jitsu out of Clayton, New Jersey, Nicky Rod.
Powerful Nicky Rod, 6'3", former collegiate wrestler, but has really kind of taken the grappling world by storm. He was a blue belt with just a year of competition, ended up getting a silver medal at Abu Dhabi. It's not easy to do, and two powerful athletes out here on the canvas. Nicky Rod of B Team Jiu-Jitsu.
I feel like we should have worn the front row before the start of this match. Don't be on your phone.
Splash zone.
Yeah. This is like when you're sitting down the right or left field line at a at a ballpark. You could get drilled with a foul ball.
Pay attention, please. Yeah, same concept, right? If you're watching the match, you'll know it's coming your way. Same in the baseball game. You're not watching the actual baseball game. You don't know that foul ball is coming your way.
Yeah. It's like Godzilla versus Ghidorah. Just get out of the way. A lot of collar and elbow tie-ups again.
Sure, that was from the crowd there. Patient work early from both men. Working those, as you said, head collar ties. Steve Mowry being awfully polite to the crowd there.
Yeah.
Backs up.
Mowry's huge, 6'8".
Yeah, that's
because Nicky Rod is a tank of a man.
Yeah.
And Steve Mowry makes him look small.
You know, 2300 arena, former ECW arena. Makes me think of Paul Varlins versus Taz.
Wow.
Taz choked out Paul Varlins. Woo! You remember that, Paul?
Yeah. I think I was there.
I'm sure. You're fighting somebody out in the street, I'm sure. Yeah. Your brother with mittens on.
We were boxing with mittens instead. That's why I ended up where I was.
Yeah, oftentimes when I see such a height disparity, you know, I think, maybe it's easier to get on the inside, you know, right? Because the guy's so tall.
Until you meet them forearms, yeah.
And then you realize, wow, he's got really long arms, and he can just keep me at bay.
Big brothers you were. You're like, oh, where are you going? Why can't you hit me?
2.5 minutes gone. Let's bring in Jay Regabuto. Jay, I know you're very familiar with Nicky Rod. What are you seeing out of this matchup thus far?
Very familiar. I actually had the honor of promoting him to his blue belt and his purple belt, cornering through his ADCC run. Man, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if in another minute or so you don't see one of these guys pull. Both of them are just as dangerous from the bottom as they are from the top. And I think right now they're just trying to feel each other out to feel that strength. They're both very big guys. And I think before they choose to take a bottom position or accept the bottom position, they want to know what they're dealing with strength-wise.
Almost on cue, you did see Nicky Rod take a knee.
Yeah, I thought about sitting down.
So it is a feeling out process, right? Just like Jay said, guys want to feel the power, feel what they're dealing with, and then maybe change direction, pull guard. And you saw Nicky Rod almost.
Combat Sports Library is at your fingertips with UFC Fight Pass. Head to the UFC app and watch the rise of Hall of Fame athletes from their first fight to their last, including Anderson Silva, Ronda Rousey, Chuck Liddell, GSP, and more. UFC Fight Pass. Step into our world.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Now, you wouldn't think it would be Nicky Rod just dragging the bigger Steve Mowry to the ground with a snap down, but that's exactly what we just saw, and he immediately advances to a great position. He's in side control now.
Yeah, quick work. Drug him down, got to an advantageous position. We'll see what he can do there. With that right arm trapped inside as well as he controls from the top. Withdraws that, looks to frame away. Push a long way with those arms.
He's got to watch the eyeballs there. Trying to figure out what he wants to do here. Digs an underhook. You see that knee on belly. He's going to go right to mount. Nice work there.
Slick move there from Nicky Rod. Tried to take the back. Mowry reacted to that. Oh, tried the Derek Lewis defense there. Nicky Rod on the back now, hunting for the choke.
You see Mowry already trying to get a shoulder to the mat, trying to get towards that side so he can turn into him. He's got wrist control, but look at Nicky Rod all over him.
Yeah, he's already got that body triangle locked up. It's going to make it harder for Mowry to move now.
Oh, he's just going to force the choke.
And he gets the tap.
Wow, that's impressive. That's a squeeze right there.
Yeah.
Because that was immediate. As soon as he got the hand behind the head, he didn't even have it under the neck. It was just the squeeze on that jaw.
That's a heavyweight. That's a heavyweight squeeze. You're gonna, like, you've been in that position. You know,
it's like,
you
all
feel
right,
like your jaw's gonna pop, and it's just not worth it.
Not worth breaking
Couple
my
that
jaw.
with the fact that he had the body triangle, and he was probably squeezing
Can't
from below
breathe.
too. Forget about it.
Incredible stuff there. We saw the power. Let's take it over to Jason Liederpont for the time to stop.
5 minutes, 30 seconds. The referee's called a halt to the bout due to submission by rear naked choke. Declare your winner, Nicky Rod.
They say he's a powerful guy, and he showed it there, and obviously great technique as well. I mean, to stay on the back during all those transitions really showed his skills there.
Yeah, lots of patience as well throughout that match between these two guys. Just jockeying for position on the feet.
We expected big double legs spilling into the second, third, maybe fourth row, but instead we get really precise, pretty good technique. First mistake is made by Steve Mowry. He gets snapped down to the mat. And then right from there, it was just all technique. Nicky Rod just advancing position, side control to knee on belly to mount. Steve Mowry picks his poison, decides to turn, gives up his back, and he winds up in this position right here. Body triangle locked on. There's the choke with the hidden hand behind the neck, and it's just a squeeze right on the jaw, Khabib style. Good win by Nicky Rodriguez.
Big favorite coming in, proved why he is a talented young force in the grappling scene. Great win there from Nicky Rod. Let's keep the action going, shall we? Got some fantastic matchups still coming your way, including this one, which I have found incredibly intriguing. 170-pound action coming next. But first, Charles Oliveira.
Sou cara escolhido. Moleque que tem reumatismo nos ossos, sopro no coração. O médico fala para seus pais, ó, ele não vai ser mais garoto normal. Hoje é o maior finalizador da história do UFC. Recordista de bônus, campeão dos pesos leves. Sou cara escolhido para mostrar que a fé que você tem em Deus pode mover montanha. Então, tipo, se você não acredita, é só olhar minha história.
How about this? Cowboy Cerrone, the future UFC Hall of Famer, is going to be doing it tonight on the Fury professional grappling mat. I am excited to see Cowboy Cerrone out here. Great jiu-jitsu. I mean, obviously we think of him as a kickboxer. We see a lot of his highlights here, but he's got some great grappling wins as well. We'll see what Cowboy Cerrone can do here tonight. A true legend of the sport, future Hall of Famer, and Joe Selecki. CM Punk, what an opportunity for Joe Selecki to come in here and make an incredible name for himself tonight if he could upset the future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, listen, when you're a legend in this sport like Cowboy Cerrone, that's the price you pay. You got young up-and-comers like Joe Selecki coming trying to make a name off yours.
That is later tonight. Can't wait for that one. And we'll have some big co-main and main after that. But now, how about this one? I was so intrigued by it, I forgot to talk about Charles Oliveira earlier. That's how intrigued I was. Chase Hooper and Renato Moicano. This should be a fun one. A couple of UFC vets here at 170 pounds. Grappling experts, to say the least. See who can make an impression.
The following bout is brought to you by Thrive. Out of the green corner, weighing in at 175 pounds, representing American Top Team. Out of Brasilia, Brazil, Renato Moicano.
Renato Moicano, the American Top Team rep. Of note in his mixed martial arts record, 8 submission victories, all 8 by rear naked choke.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to be looking for that back.
100%. That's his bread and butter. And he's got a funky guy in Chase Hooper, though. I mean, this is his bread and butter on the ground. But Moicano's a legit grappler. I'm curious to see how this one plays out. If there was striking involved, I'd be worried
And
for
his
Chase,
opponent
but
out of
there's
the
not.
red corner, weighing in at 170.5 pounds, representing Combat Sports and Fitness. Out of Enumclaw, Washington, Chase Hooper.
It's the dream, Chase Hooper. grappling pedigree as well. 5 of his 10 MMA wins by submission. 3 rear naked chokes, triangle, heel hook. He's got a little bit of all of it. Won't see the heel hook tonight, of course. We're banning those with these UFC fighters to try to make it as safe as possible. These contracted athletes.
Aerial my friend.
8 minutes on the clock.
Not surprised by that from Hooper. Pulling right to guard. Got butterfly hooks in. Looking to elevate early.
Can we talk about how Chase Hooper's 170 pounds and he's a featherweight?
Welcome, Dava.
He was probably drinking some water to weigh that, though. I don't know. It looks,
he's a growing
he's a
boy.
big, tall
I don't know.
guy,
Is he a featherweight? You know, is
Welcome,
featherweight
Dava.
still in the future of Chase Hooper? It's a legitimate question.
Maybe not. Like you said, he came to the UFC at such a young age.
He's trying to steal my job at the commentary booth. Actually yours, John. I'm safe.
I mean, as long as I can just sit there and have cocktails while he's calling fights, I'm okay with that.
You did a shoey.
During the fight?
John did, yeah.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Got to do it. It's the thing. What, was it official shoey or a?
No, I just slammed it. No, we're not doing that.
No, come on, right?
No.
That's where you lose me. I mean, I'll drink a beer out of somebody's shoe, whatever.
I like Tai Tuivasa,
I ain't
but
having somebody spit in it, Phil.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the line.
I'll pass.
Speaking of passing,
Yeah.
how about that, huh?
Wow. Gold medal. Points for you.
Chase feels comfortable working from his back. No surprise there. Got the butterfly in.
He's got these overhooks. He can use them to sweep. See Moicano's staying in a good position. He doesn't want to commit. See, he knows he's looking for
Ion
the
is
sweeps. He wants to control one arm. He's got those on butterfly hooks, so he's going to pick a side and try to roll him to it. But it's going to be a tough move to really get Moicano with. You're going to have to try to do that, and get him baited on that, and then go something else.
Go something, yeah, go in a different direction.
Ion, easy teleport, Dava. Easy teleport,
Postures
Dava.
up a little bit. Still keep
Ion, guide your
foot on the
path.
hips there. Knee shield. Heavy squeeze there from the top. Got shoulder pressure. See Moicano trying to slip past the guard. We're trying to slip out there. Let's bring in our man Jay Regabuto. Jay, what are you seeing with Hooper and Moicano here?
I love Hooper from this butterfly position, and every time that he's able to extend his butterflies out to where his legs are at like 90 degrees and not compressed in this position here, you see he has much more success. When he's compressed here, Moicano is able to keep that pressure and keep tight, and even saw him pass one time. But once Hooper is able to use this butterfly, you see how his leg goes to that 90 degrees. Watch how much better he's able to elevate. But Moicano very aware, keeping them hips in tight, keeping that heavy pressure. Then you see Hooper trying to create the space to get his legs to an angle where that butterfly is going to be able to elevate.
You see Moicano have to back out and reset a little bit.
Yes, speak up.
Excellent work there, trying to slide past.
Yes, speak up.
Who rolled with it. Slide back to the
Ari
center here.
Aluma, Dava.
Chess match going on. Neither guy really kind of giving an inch. A lot of swimming for underhooks.
Yeah.
Chase still playing this this butterfly guard underneath. And he's elevating Moicano
glad
multiple
you're
times,
here.
but like as Paul said, he's not ditching him to either side. He's not trying to bait him and go somewhere else.
Moicano getting close to pass, but look the way Chase just rolls through. Oh, like a spider guard there for a second.
Hail, Dava.
Obviously, without a gi is
A little tough.
tough to do.
Very tough.
See Hooper trying to invert here. Snatch onto an arm, not quite there. Resets to the open guard, inverting. As we're wrapping up the year in fantastic fashion at Fury Professional Grappling 3, but we're going to start it off in great fashion next. UFC 270 in January, Anaheim. 2 title fights, only on pay-per-view, January 22nd. You ready for that one? Heavyweight title, flyweight trilogy. Cannot wait for that pay-per-view. Right now, a little more than 3.5 minutes left. Hooper continues to work from his back. Guys trying to work those butterfly, those elevator sweeps, but just kind of been stuck.
This is where I get really curious to see how these decisions go based on what the judges see, because you've got Hooper on his back. working the butterfly guard, trying to sweep, trying to set something up. Moicano every now and then passing in top position, but it's not a fight, so now he's looking for control of the back. That would be really clutch right now. If he can get control of this back of Chase Hooper in this match, the way they've been going back and forth, that's big.
Obviously a much better position.
Look
at him just pulling on the head. That's just nasty.
So you think we're out here just having fun? No, sir.
But, I mean, look at Chase. He's wily.
Going to be able to escape. Nice work.
Wow, great work there. You hear the applause from the crowd. That was fantastic work from Chase to get up a very bad situation.
You bring up a good point, Paul. When it comes to scoring, especially when it's a fight, when it's mixed martial arts in the UFC, I feel like a lot of the times judges don't give the credit for submission attacks.
Yeah.
So if somebody's underneath somebody and they're constantly throwing up their legs for a triangle or hunting for that arm bar, but they wind up still underneath their opponent, I think a lot of the times the judges give it to their opponent.
Yeah, they don't get any credit for that. When really, with the new rules and the way things have been modified, it should be considered almost just a change of position, whether you're on top or bottom. Obviously, the takedowns count. If you get and secure a takedown, okay, that's changed position, but then what? If you get taken down and then the fight, okay, now the fight is fresh and it's on the mat and you're dominating from the bottom, whether it be from strikes or submission attempts, there needs to be that consideration. And I think we're getting to a point where we're seeing that more, but it's still lagging behind.
Well, this is a great example, this grappling fight right here, because you see Chase, he's on the bottom, but he's constantly using the butterflies to elevate, try to sweep, better his position. So who's really winning that?
Yeah, this is where, I mean, why we see a lot of these grappling competitions have a draw, basically, unless there is a submission, because it's so tough to really judge. Now this is, again, big, but Chase looks like he's going to break this body triangle, and
excellent defensive work again, right?
Yeah, but Moicano looks like he's going to be able to stay on top. This is a pretty dominant position. If he can keep that body triangle and turn into Chase, now he's got him flattened out. That's big.
Yeah, it's huge. And it takes, to me, it takes all the questions we've been asking out of the equation when it comes to the judges, because this is such a dominant position.
Yeah, with 1 minute left, and then he goes seamlessly right to side control and holds it.
And Chase has yet to have a dominant position like this against Moicano.
Yeah, and exactly, and in his guard, he hasn't really thrown up any successful submission attempts. He was trying, so early on it looked like he was the more active fighter, but Moicano was patient and was able to get to his positions where he can have better control.
Under a minute remaining.
You can see he's working though, man. Yeah, to hold Chase there, my goodness.
Chase has shown excellent defensive awareness, excellent work, but it's really been Hinato that's been able to get to those most advantageous positions. You hear the clapper there, which means 30 seconds remaining. We're trying to turn to a hook there, but as you said, the strength and the work from Hinato Moicano in top position has been fantastic.
Absolutely, and a lot of times when you see guys who are so good at grappling, you get these stalemates like this where something like top position for that 30 or 40 seconds will win you the fight.
Thought maybe we might see something flying there at the end to close, but it goes the distance. We'll take it to our judges. Gotta think they're gonna be leaning towards Hinato Moicano, but they've gotta be the ones to call it. So let's take to our man Jason Liederfine and get the decision.
Judges, pick your winner. Your winner by decision, Hinato Moicano.
Comfortable with that decision, of course. As I said, it was the most advantageous positions were Hinato Moicano, and you see him celebrating a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but hey, have fun.
It was fun, is what it was. Let's take a look at some of the replays here. A lot of butterfly guard here, and you see the elevation, but Chase couldn't do nothing with it. Trying to sweep Moicano. Moicano winds up on top of Chase, and here, again, a nice little entry here. Chase looking like he's trying to sweep Moicano with the butterflies. Moicano winds up taking the back of Chase via... there was one point he was just pulling on his face.
Yeah,
it was
making it uncomfortable.
It was pretty mean. And right here, probably the best spot of the grapple, as the kids like to say right here. Body triangle by Moicano. He's got Chase's back, but Chase defending and defending. Dominant position by Moicano, though, and you got to believe that that's how he got the decision.
Question about it. Great work there from Hinato Moicano. super always fun to watch, but just couldn't get out of that position, unfortunately. So let's keep the action going on. This is the one that I think a lot of people have been looking forward to. I know I have. A lot of people saying this could be the match of the night. It is the Carpenter, Clay Guida, Billy Q on the other side, Billy Quarantillo. 170-pound matchup. Both of them were comfortably under that, but I mean, come on, anytime Clay Guida's doing something, I'm tuning in. Let's get him on the campus.
The following bout is brought to you by RK Chevrolet. Out of the green corner, weighing in at 164.5 pounds, representing Gracie, Tampa South, out of Tampa, Florida, Billy Quarantillo.
Little Squid Game action there on the entrance. I like it, Billy Q. Man, what a year Billy Q has had. Wrapping it up in style here. Of course, he had that incredible fight at Madison Square Garden that probably didn't get the love it deserved just because it was right after Gaethje and Chandler. Of course, he had a fight of the night earlier in the year as well over Gabriel Benitez. So a great year for Billy Q. And I know he is very much looking forward to this opportunity tonight.
I'm a little nervous. If Billy Q doesn't win, what happens to him
You know what
now?
happens, Phil.
His opponent out of the red corner. He weighed in at 164.5 pounds, representing Team Alpha Male out of Jonesburg, Illinois, Clay Guida.
Boy, I just hope he has the energy to go all 8 minutes. You know what I mean? Hopefully he doesn't gas out here. Big bros behind him. Are we going to get the slap? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. We'll see. He's got a singlet on.
Look, yeah, look at Jason. He's getting into it. He's ready. He's ready. Jason's ready.
Izzy style wrestling in the building.
He's wearing the Muppet Animal socks. What a guy. Here we go.
Oh, soak it in, ladies and gentlemen. Crowd loves it. I love it. Clay Guida on the Fury Pro Grappling mat. Billy Q on the other side. I'm telling you, both these guys have been fired up for this matchup, and I think everybody around town this week has been talking about this one.
Wrestling shoes allowed?
I was about to ask. I mean, nobody's going to stop him.
You can't say no to Clay Guida.
I wouldn't stop. There's no leg locks and no heel hooks, I should say. So, I mean, you wouldn't want them on if there was.
Right.
Can't attack
Clay Guida always so proud to represent the sport of wrestling. So excited when he was added to this card. Billy Q wants to come in and play spoiler to that. Briefly, but Quarantillo able to back him away. Whoa!
Oh!
Hey!
We
lost the ref.
All right. We're having fun tonight.
We need a special guest referee for a contest such as this.
You knew the activity level was going to be high.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, another single.
Whoa!
We were talking about the heavyweights. We should have been worried about these two more.
Oh,
he's got the neck. He's got the neck.
Grab the neck.
And we've seen Clay get stuck in guillotines before. He's out.
It's the hair. That's what the hair's for.
Yeah, man. That's why it's there.
Quarantillo, the leaping choke attempt there just slips off.
A little Vaseline in it, you know?
Yeah, why not? You know, you don't wash it for a few weeks. Really grease it up.
Interesting to note that both these guys came in at the exact same weight, 164.5 pounds. Billy fights as a featherweight, of course Clay, legendary lightweight.
Yeah, and Clay did go down to 145 pounds for a while, and he didn't like himself at that weight class. We've talked about it in fighter meetings in the past. He just feels more comfortable being a lightweight. He's not the biggest guy, but he's got the energy and the cardio to compete at that weight class and confuse guys and use his movement. And even here, you think you've got him, and Clay's just finds a way out of a lot of these things.
I think that when guys change weight classes, I think you can see flashes of brilliance. You know, there's a lot more opportunities, but that weight cut I think eventually weighs on you. Saw it with Anthony Pettis. You know, he looked great at 145 pounds, but that weight cut eventually will catch up to him.
Yeah, it can do a lot. It can do a lot of damage. not so much just even the weight cuts, the water cut per se, right? It's the fluctuation.
Yeah, I mean, you do that 4 times a year. That takes a lot out of you.
It takes a lot out of you.
I don't know.
That's why you'll see certain fighters only fighting twice a year, once a year, because they just can't keep up with that.
Look at this. We got a triangle set up here.
Left leg up high on the shoulder.
Clay Guida trying to posture up, but Quarantillo doing the smart thing, and he's had his right paw pulling down the head, still in on this triangle attempt.
Well, that's Clay, right? The Clay being Clay's in the triangle. He drops out of it and immediately jumps right back into just that bad position. He's an animal.
It's not what you expect, right?
No. Well, and here we go again. He's got to be careful of this triangle from Quarantillo.
Oh, look at
through. Look at that. Beautiful guard pass there.
Billy underneath Clay now trying to re-guard.
Best moment so far for Guida, perhaps. He's going to have to let that go. Jumps past it again. Excellent work there.
Has to let it go. Says you.
He's like, nope, I'm hanging on to this. Quarantillo re-guards again, but you can see very finely drops. Let's bring in Jay Regabuto. Jay, we expected this to be a high-energy affair. I think that's what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Quarantillo is really trying to get his guard going, opening it up. You saw him trying to go for some rubber guard earlier, but I'll tell you, Guida has that forward motion MMA style. He's going to be incredibly hard to submit. Even in that triangle, he postures up, lets gravity do its job to escape. And I'm going to tell you, I like the wrestling shoes idea. Without having leg locks, it gives him that extra traction for passes, for pushing forward, especially with a slick guard like Quarantillo. I think it was a good move, and we got the animal socks.
The animal socks is what really makes it. We talk about the slick guard. Guida continues to pass it.
Yeah, he just passed on Quarantillo's left side earlier. We saw him do it on his right side. Very nicely done.
Quarantillo, by the way, he's been putting the hand in the face. Guida,
Guida's just basically wrestling out here.
Yes?
That's what he's doing, and that's what he likes to showcase. Look, he's got them all tied up. If he was wrestling, he'd be trying to twist them back, put his shoulders on the mat, but he's looking for the neck instead. Oh, nice job from Quarantillo to fight out of that.
Had it there for a moment. Quarantillo got back to the canvas, and now look at this. We're not going to allow that to happen. Back to guard from Quarantillo. So Guida driving forward there.
Non-stop.
Area Luma,
friend. The whole time. That's what you can expect when you're in there with Guida. It's relentless pressure from the beginning to the end.
Was there something you
needed?
needed?
An all-action affair. It has been thus far. Odds makers had Quarantillo as a slight favorite as he tries to work the leg in there again.
Take care. I strive for quality.
Let it go. Guida continues to move past it. It is Quarantillo's guard has been very impressive. I mean, Guida continues to move past it, but Quarantillo able to re-guard over and over and over.
Load him up. Come under there.
Yeah, and with 2.5 minutes left, that's enough time for somebody like Billy Q to throw up a triangle, throw up an arm bar, to grab a hold of the neck and get a guillotine.
Oh.
Reset back to the center, close to the edge there.
Clay Guida constantly just bouncing, constant pace.
He'll go in the back after this
something
and be
you
doing
needed?
the same thing.
Right?
Shot there, but Billy Q slips around.
Fireman's carry by Clay Guida.
You see Billy Q trying to get on that neck early. Same thing as we saw earlier today.
Great roll there from Guida to get out of that. You hear the crowd come alive for that scramble. Excellent work from both guys.
Another diamond position here. Triangle set up by Billy underneath Clay. Great submission attempt by Billy Q.
Guida controlling the body.
Gotta watch his neck here. He can't let Billy Q lock his hands at all.
Have you business with me?
Guillotine.
Quarantillo nearly had that for a moment. Settles to his back once again.
Giving Clay a little bit of a face wash there.
More than a minute remaining here. Quarantillo continues to look for options from his back. Jay, I want to bring you in real quick with a minute remaining here. I mean, we've seen some back and forth. Is this an easy decision at this point in the final minute, or how are you leaning?
I don't think easy decision, but I would still give it to Guida because he's done the most dynamic things as far as passing goes. Quartel is thrown up for these like trap triangles where he hasn't locked them down. He's throw over for the Goga Plata, but Guida just immediately postures out of it before it's any kind of danger. I think Guida's been pushing the pace. But like you said, even 30 seconds is enough time to throw up a triangle and try to finish it.
Yeah.
Maybe not on Guida. It's going to be tough, but.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, excellent work. And you see Billy pushing to the very end there. Left leg high on the shoulder now. It was the right. Now trying to set up that triangle once again. Guida feels that.
Yeah, he knows. He's all over it. With such short time, even if you got Clay in it now, you'd have to have such a squeeze on him that you'd put him to sleep because he's not tapped.
Passes the guard once again. We said it would be nonstop action. It has been nonstop action. Guida passing to the very end, moves to the back there. He's looking for the choke at the end. The arm triangle at the bell. Could we get it in? Can't quite get the squeeze. You know, interesting, we went to Jay to see kind of how he was scoring it with a minute left, and then that final minute was a lot of Billy Q, but it finished strong from Clay Guida as well there.
If we ever needed a 5 more minute chant from the audience here, like we sometimes get in the pro wrestling, it would be now. This is great. That was a great contest.
Look at the legend.
I've seen Clay get choked out and take a lap around the ring. This is what he does. I'm dead serious.
He doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
Great match. Let's take it to Jason Liederman and get our decision.
Judges, pick your winner. Your winner out of the red corner, Clay Guida!
Oh, Billy Quarantillo, a great opponent, but always great to see Clay Guida pick up a win. A legend of the sport. How great is it to have him here at Fury Pro Grappling, and he gets it done and ready to keep running some laps. He'll probably go put in a couple rounds in the dressing room.
Yeah, why not? Why not go jump some rope or run some laps around the place? I was able to see him upstairs in the locker rooms beforehand. He's just such a good guy, such good energy. Billy Q as well.
Area Luma, friend.
And you know, he's a savage current featherweight. He's got a lot on his table right now. Hungry? This is fun for him to come out here, gets to compete against another legend.
You fight in different divisions, but Clay Guida, a legend in this sport. Talk to me about what it's like coming here and putting yourself on the line and grappling with Clay.
Yeah, first, just thanks everyone for coming out, man. I appreciate you. Neither one of us had a great training camp for this fight. I did what I could. He's a tough wrestler, and he proved to be the better man tonight.
Now, I like to talk about weight classes and stuff like that. You both weighed the same exact weight, but you fight as a featherweight, and he fights as a lightweight. I mean, what's that take? Talk to me about your weight cuts and stuff like that, because that's crazy.
Yeah, you know, obviously we didn't cut weight for this fight, but yeah, I appreciate Clay. They offered me Clay Guida like a week ago, and I was like, hell yeah, I love competing, I love performing, and I'm just happy to be here. It sucks not winning, but I'll be back to the drawing board. I'll be back in the UFC soon fighting.
Well, listen, you took the fight on short notice, and I appreciate the hell out of you. It's fun to watch you grapple. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Q. And I'm here with your winner, Clay Guida. He needs absolutely no introduction. Clay, talk to me. How you feeling?
Hey, guys. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. The city's awesome.
Greetings.
It's my first time out here. I've been wanting to visit the city for a long time. Historical city. I mean,
greetings.
What more can I say? What an awesome event. Thank you to Fury Grappling. Thanks to
Goodbye.
CFFC. Thanks to UFC and UFC Fight Pass for putting on such a great show. To blow out the end of the year, 2021 was awesome. The best is yet to come in 2022. So thank everyone for coming out. We really, really appreciate it. Billy Q, you're an animal, man. You must have went for 20 submissions. It was your typical wrestler versus MMA guy. And you know what? Those kids, they're the new breed, and they're super, super dangerous. All of his fights are must-see TV, super, you know, all high-intensity entertainment. So you guys knew you were going to get just a furious pace. So our hats off to Billy Q. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to call Clay Guida and Billy Q grappling. It's got to be a pleasure for you to watch them fight. They're UFC fighters who come here to put on a show for y'all. Put your hands together for your winner, Clay Guida.
Hey, wrestling is life, baby. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's the greatest sport. It saved my life and a lot of other people out there. So thank you to the sport of wrestling. I appreciate it, guys.
Take a look at the singlet and take a look at the shoes. Clay the Carpenter Guida.
Absolute legend, Clay Guida. 15 years on the UFC roster. Can you believe that?
Oh, man. I was just looking at that. I'm like, 2006? The guy's just coming off a win still current in the UFC against these young guns. You gotta love it. He brings such good energy to the sport. Always praising the sport of wrestling. You gotta love that. If you ever wrestled in your life, then you should be a huge fan.
I love it, man.
Of Clay Guida.
You have to be. Clay Guida, an absolute legend. And listen, from one legend to another, Joe Selecki wants to come in here and play spoiler against the future Hall of Famer. You can see Joe Selecki having a little fun against this man, Cowboy Cerrone. Donald Cowboy Cerrone on the Fury Professional Grappling mat. How exciting is that, man? The future Hall of Famer. You can see he's taking it, you know.
Typical cowboy energy out there, you know what I'm saying?
They asked him to record a promo yesterday, and he's like, what's my guy's name again? I'm not sure. He anybody, anywhere, anytime, any sport, any competition. The man just loves to compete, and you're talking about an honor to call Clay Guida. It's an honor to call Cowboy Cerrone as well.
Yeah, what a treat for me.
Yeah. Great stuff. So excited for this night. It's delivered so far. We still got 3 big matchups to come, including this one. 185 pounds. Donald Cowboy Cerrone, Joe Selecki in this featured matchup here. Joe Selecki looking to play spoiler against the future Hall of Famer.
The following bout is brought to you by Turf Boys. First, out of the green corner, weighing in at 169.5 pounds, representing Salty Dog and Hassett Jiu-Jitsu, out of Wilmington, North Carolina, Joe Selecki.
Yeah, by the way, Jason Luderfine did not read that wrong. Joe Selecki came in at 169.5 pounds. Cowboy came in at 186. Not sure if there was a confusion there, but we'll see if it plays into it tonight.
And his opponent out of the red corner, weighing in at 186 pounds, representing BMF Ranch and fighting out of Edgewood, New Mexico, Donald Cerrone.
I've been to Edgewood, New Mexico. Let me tell you, nothing to do there but train at your own house.
Did you ever have to do any like forced mandatory
it's so
like
funny, man. I got so
sports?
I've got so many stories. Yes, extreme sports for sure. Snowboarding, and dislocated my first rib and collarbone right before the Danny Castillo fight.
Oh boy.
Secret.
I bet you won that, the old spinning
Yeah,
backaroony.
and Cowboy would tell you, hey, listen, you learned a lesson here. You should do this kind of stuff before your fights. Look at how well you did. That was definitely the BMF Ranch mindset back in the day.
It's
Missed those days.
Cowboy, of course, holds the record for most wins in UFC history. Right now, Joe Selecki.
Joe Selecki's extremely strong on the ground. Very good jiu-jitsu player. It's going to be tough for Cowboy, but Cowboy is so good on the ground, man. I've rolled with him for years. He's a savage, and he does a few things, but he does them really well. His setups, he goes for the same things a lot of the time. That triangle armbar series, but good luck defending it.
Sure,
when it's on.
sure. I mean, who do you want to grapple? The guy who knows, 10,000 holds, or who knows the one hold he's done 10,000 times.
Exactly. A lot of attempt there from Selecki.
Briefly in trouble there, but Cowboy was able to pull out that. But you see the aggression again from Selecki.
Yeah, he's being aggressive. He's attacking early, but Cerrone just, rolling out of all these submission attempts.
And I love that Cowboy's doing these. We just saw him against Jones. We saw him here today. This is great, and he wants to have another fight in the UFC. We're waiting to hear anything official. There's some rumor. The rumor mill is always going strong, but.
Well, I appreciate these guys. Billy Q, Clay Guida. They're active. They're active fighters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like,
but it says something
Selecki
about
gets
their
to
character.
Go grapple Cowboy, who in the UFC is not going to get that opportunity to fight a guy like Cowboy, who's been around as long as he has, all the records that he has. He's a young guy in the sport, and Cowboy's a guy who's nearing the end of his UFC career, so that they're probably never going to face each other. So to be able to go out here in front of a crowd and grapple, it's huge for Joe Selecki, and Cowboy gets to go against his studs, you know what I mean, and test himself and show the world, hey, listen, I might be getting up there in UFC years, but I can still go out there and grapple with the best guys in the world.
Hey, I get it. Last week I tagged with Sting.
Oh, now that's awesome. I know Sting. I know the guys from the ECW or WCW.
Yeah, you know Sting. I tagged with him. We won. I'm not bragging.
Of course you did.
We won.
Meanwhile, Selecki has moved to the back here. Cowboy had been defending well from his back, but now you have Selecki around the back with the body lock in there as well.
Joe in a good position here, and this is Cowboy's position, man. This is what Cerrone is known for, is this taking the back, using the body triangle, getting you to set yourself up and get caught in a bad position, and it's getting reversed on. These are the young guys that are learning from watching Cowboy fights over the years.
Yep. Well, good thing for Cowboy, if you're a master at this position, you tend to be a master at defending it.
He's so good. I remember, we're talking about Edgewood, New Mexico. He puts that body triangle on you, and you're at 7,500 feet above sea level. He doesn't even have to choke you, and you consider tapping just from that.
Squeeze the will right out of you.
If you ever need another tag team partner or somebody to come up and take your back a little bit, you just let them
there's
know.
the choke.
Oh, he won it.
Just
that was fast,
quick.
man. Exactly.
He was
sitting here
teasing
joking
side
around.
to side.
Yeah.
Can't joke around with Joe Selecki on the back. And what a moment for him. I mean,
Savage.
the legend in Cowboy Cerrone, future Hall of Famer, and you see the respect between the two, and Joe Selecki gets to say, hey, I want to win over that guy.
Yeah, and Cowboy, it's an opportunity for him to come out here and keep performing, keep getting better. You lose to a stud like Selecki, no shame in that.
Fantastic. All right, let's take it over to Jason Lee to get the official time to stop it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referees stopped the bout at 3 minutes 17 seconds. Due to rear naked choke, declaring your winner by submission victory, Joe Selecki.
All big win there for Joe Selecki. Smiles for Cowboys. You said Cowboy knows his MMA career is coming to an end soon, but he wants to continue competing and doing stuff like this. But hey, you're going to face young studs like this, like Joe Selecki.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, let's take a look here. You see he's got the body triangle locked up. And again, this is Joe almost doing what Cowboy used to do to everybody else. And Cowboy's coming over to me right now, so I'm going to say hi to him real quick.
Selecki, and who's this little angel?
This is my girl. This is my inspiration, Nora. Only child, my light of my life.
All right, Nora. I would ask you questions, but I don't know how far we're going to get, so I'll keep them with Dad. Listen, you came in here grappling a legend in Cowboy Cerrone. Talk to me about your thought process of like how that came to fruition and what your battle plan was.
Yeah, the second that Fury Grappling was nice enough to offer me the match, it was yes, yes, yes. I don't care about weight or anything. Like, I was able to fight Jim Miller. He is tied with Cowboy, most fights in UFC history, and now I get to grapple Donald, who's a legend, and I knew he was a good grappler, and he was, So I appreciate the opportunity from Fury and Cowboy.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea of UFC fighters coming here to Fury Grappling and competing. I'm not sure if you and Cowboy Cerrone would ever cross paths in the octagon. I think it's pretty cool that you can come here and grapple. Is there anybody else in the UFC that you might not cross paths with in the octagon that you would like to get on the platform here in Fury Pro Grappling?
Yeah, honestly, it's a boring answer, but anybody, because this is where I started. I started grappling. I started fighting here in Philly at CMFC in 2300 Arena, and this is my home. But I love to grapple. I love to compete, and getting back to that has been huge for me. So anybody that I can test myself against, and I'm starting to really, really remember how much I love this sport, especially grappling, MMA, just competition. So anybody.
Well, it might be a boring answer, but I feel like it's the correct one. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Joe Selecki and Nora.
Joe Selecki victorious. I'm having fun just over here talking to Cowboy Cerrone, man. He stopped by the broadcast booth to say hello, the legend, just giving us a quick little chat. And, man, just this card is so cool. It was moments like that we were looking forward to.
Yeah, it took me off guard there when he comes up to the desk, but that's typical Cowboy style. And he was, he's talking about going with these young guys. He knows what he's in for, and that's why he's here. He's here to test himself still, and that's big for Selecki, right? And that's what it's all about. You get this young guy, he gets here with his family to share that moment. So congratulations, Joe Selecki. I remember calling his fights for CFFC. I think maybe his first or second fight ever.
It's crazy. Yeah. Now here he is, Fury Pro Grappling, the third event. How great it's been. And now we're getting to the co-main event of the night that we have all been looking forward to so very much. The undefeated welterweight, Sean Brady, former CFFC champ, and now he's welcoming one of the best grapplers on the planet today in Craig Jones, 200 pounds in our co-main event of the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following bout is your co-main event of the evening and is brought to you by Will Hunt. Out of the green corner, weighing 199.5 pounds, representing B-Team Jiu-Jitsu. Out of Adelaide, Australia, Craig Jones.
I mean, guys, there's not much more to say other than one of the best grapplers on the planet. But interesting tonight, heel hooks not legal in matches involving UFC fighters. That's where the majority of his submissions come from. Certainly not saying it's all he's got. He's not a one-trick pony, but he's having one of his biggest weapons taken away tonight. So it presents a little bit of a unique challenge for Craig Jones tonight.
Yeah, I think it just makes it more interesting and fun for the fans to watch for a guy like Sean Brady, who's still a very active UFC welterweight, to come in here and not have
His
to worry
opponent
about
out of the red corner, weighing
heel
192.5
hooks.
pounds, representing Daniel Gracie, BJJ,
And the house is here for Sean, of course.
Pennsylvania, Sean Brady.
Yeah, how great is that crowd reaction? I was not part of the CFFC family during Sean Brady's run, but it was legendary, the crowds that he brought into venues like this. And listen, man, Sean wanted this challenge. He said, give me the toughest matchup you can give me.
He's probably at home constantly watching Craig Jones and studying his tapes, seeing what he's doing on the grappling circuit. So for him to go in there and compete against him, no brainer. When he got that call, he had to be like, yeah, what are you talking about? I'll do it for free right now. Let's go.
Fighters don't do it for free, get paid.
Get paid first, yes, of course. Sean doesn't want any parts of just falling right into your guard, but that's what Craig Jones will do.
Yeah, this
He'll
is
butt scoot you all day.
This is typical Craig Jones. This is his strategy. Again, a lot of times he'll just invert on that leg immediately. You know, he could still use that as a transition, but a lot of times he'll just threaten with those heel hooks. Doesn't have that available tonight, but he's just got insane transitions from every position.
Sean will engage him. Yeah, he's just going to do it on his terms, which
have you business
to do.
with me.
Absolutely. Craig Jones trying to dictate the positioning as he moves forward. Sean Brady very, very aware.
There's always that intimidation factor as well when you're facing somebody in another sport, right? Even though grappling is very much a part of MMA, it's not competition grappling like Craig Jones is used to doing. So for Sean, you know you're facing the best guy out there.
Yeah, well, at the level of Craig Jones,
right.
I think you can call it a different sport because he's so specialized. But
yeah, he's not practicing boxing. He's not doing those other things.
This is what he does. But when you take away via the rules his bread and butter, the inside,
he'd already he'd be rolling under. He'd be trying to grab legs for sure. Go full guard for Jones.
Watch your hands on the
floor. He said something, Sean.
He said,
he's
I normally
at
punch you right now. Right?
Jones working full guard underneath.
This is the point of the night where I forget that I have a job to do, and I'm just
watch.
watching.
Yeah. Dude, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
The fight gets going, especially when it's in these more technical moments like that.
Yep.
Watch this. You guys just want to watch? Jay, tell us what we're seeing
Jay,
so far.
go
How much is this changing things for Craig Jones that he doesn't have those heel hooks available?
I'll tell you, it definitely changes, but he is used to this. He's done these matches before where they tell him that. He's got stuff like this, like these shoulder crushes, these back takes that he's incredible at. He's very good at triangles and things like that. So, in my opinion, it's probably in Brady's best interest to stay in a standing position and try to pass, knowing that he can't invert onto a leg and forcing him into wrestling up where he could see guillotines and stuff like that. Staying down in this position is giving Craig access to his upper body. And again, Craig is the #2 grappler on planet Earth, pound for pound. So while taking away the leg locks is a big thing, he's got a bunch of other really dangerous tools. But I'll tell you, I know tons of people who have trained with Sean Brady, and easier said than done. Much easier said than done.
Thank you, Jay. I enjoyed
that's
time
for
to
sure.
watch.
I can tell you, as somebody who's been one of those guys,
legendary
difficult
squeeze,
to deal
right?
with. But this is what I expected early in this match too, was that Sean's going to be careful, and I didn't even expect him, like Jay said, to sit in the guard for that long, because I know the guy, Craig Jones, might be known for his leg locks, but when you're at this level of grappler, you have no problem throwing up any other kind of submission if you're limited to what you can use.
Craig continues to work from his back. Looking for options here. Brady with that top position. It's the end of the year here at Fury Pro Grappling. It starts out January 22nd. UFC 270, the big one. Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane unifying the titles. Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo with the trilogy. ESPN Plus pay-per-view, January 22nd, UFC 270.
Sean looking to pass here. He's got to keep those knees pinched. See how he's got those knees pinched of Craig Jones? That's what he wants. But, I mean, Jones is so on another level of this stuff that I can't even say that, right? That may be something that he's used to where he's going to set a trap, so I'm just going to claim ignorance here.
That's what's so scary, right? I mean, you think you're advancing position. In reality, you're going exactly where he wants you.
Whenever I've gone with some of this, just absolute stud black belts that have just competed against the best, they're so relaxed and calm in positions where you're like, oh, I'm gonna advance here, and then you end up literally tapping out 3 seconds later.
Sure, and then another interesting thing too here, to casuals, they look at this and they might think this is boring, but this is like such a high-level chess match. The knee shield of Craig Jones is everything for him, and Sean Brady, a black belt himself, would normally probably be able to get around that from somebody.
Yeah.
But it's just a different knee shield when it comes from Craig Jones. I also wonder, strictly a grappler, such a specialized grappler like Craig Jones, what's his grip like? I saw him grab a hold of Brady's wrist at one point.
And he literally
that's one of those things that you feel, and sometimes it's just different, and I can only imagine it's different with Craig Jones.
It's one of those things too. You can go to the gym all day, and you're like, well, I can bench press 385 pounds, and then Craig Jones will grab your wrist and almost break it. It's like, yeah, well, I can't do that. Okay. But when it comes to choking the life out of you, I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean Brady, I mean, he continues to cut through. Like you said, he's been showing great advances, but Craig Jones is just so good at regarding, as you say, keeping that knee shield. It's just a different thing.
But again, this is all wins for Sean. I mean, he gets to go in there and play a jiu-jitsu match where he doesn't have to worry about getting split open or cut or losing his UFC undefeated record or his undefeated record in general. And go have a fun grappling match with the second best, like Jay said, best grappler in the world.
Didn't have to get on a plane either.
They didn't have to go anywhere. Travel down to South Philly from
Happy
Northeast.
New Year.
You can hear the chants of Brady under 2 minutes. Let's bring Jay back in. Jay, we're winding down on time here. It's been a lot of this. What are we seeing in terms of scoring at this point?
Yeah, I feel like Craig is trying to get to the back here. I feel like he's using that overhook. You see it coming over top of the head, almost like he's looking for Kimura. But Brady is doing a really good job of keeping his head on the far side, keeping his head to the far side. And again, Craig's guard is very, very difficult to pass, but Brady has not stopped trying to pass the entire time.
Yeah. Jay, I got a question for you. For somebody like Sean, who's a current UFC welterweight, with 1:15 basically left on the clock, for him to come in here, stay in top position, and just even ride this out, that's got to be a win.
Amazing.
Right?
Yes. Even if he got submitted in the next 4 seconds,
it still
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He has done a very good job. He hasn't been swept. He hasn't had his back taken. He hasn't been put in a negative position yet, which again is such a huge, huge
so hard to
thing
do against a guy like this.
And for MMA fans watching, again, understand that Craig is #2 on planet Earth. Most people he can go in there and even without heel hooks submit in seconds.
#1 being Gordon Ryan.
Yes.
Just for all the people at home who are constantly going to be like, well, who's #1?
I'm wondering if even Jones is a bit surprised here from Brady. I mean, he's waiting and he's trying to set up traps, but Sean, I'm telling you, the strongest person, I'd like to talk to, he's looking for this straight armbar from the guard here.
Great awareness from Brady there.
How do you judge it? How do you judge this?
Final seconds ticking off the clock here. Sean Brady has put in an excellent performance against, just an insanely difficult Craig Jones, who's looking for options all the way until the end.
Interesting. Very interesting.
We'll see what the judges say. Great stuff there. Sean was a little frustrated, but that's Craig Jones. You see the respect. I think they both earned each other's respect. After that, let's take it to Jason Liedervine and find out our result.
Judges, pick your winner. Your winner out of the red corner, Sean Brady!
Sean Brady, victorious. The undefeated UFC welterweight has earned a decision over pound for pound great Craig Jones. Great result. for Sean Brady, and CM Punk is going to grab a microphone as we take a look at some of this action.
Yeah, let's take a look here. I mean, Sean really was able to stay on top, use his pressure and his strength in this position. Now, granted, a whole lot didn't really transpire here, but the fact that Sean is able to stay on top, not get swept from a lot of these positions, this is where Craig Jones, for those at home, he wants to be here. He wants to be trying to trap you and set you up for a lot of things. That just shows the level of where Sean is. And again, you know, there's no heel hooks. So, of course, we know that to the people at home. I mean, Craig Jones, if there's heel hooks, who knows what happens at different leg locks. But this is the rule set that we were under. So that's a big opportunity and a big moment there for Sean Brady to be able to compete with somebody like Craig Jones.
Fantastic. CM Punk's got a microphone. He's with Craig Jones.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Craig Jones, touted as one of the best grapplers in the world, but you come here to take on a UFC welterweight, and we changed the rules on you a little bit. We take away your bread and butter, your heel hooks, but you're a hell of a competitor. You still took the fight. Talk to me about the rule change, how you felt in there grappling with Sean.
I mean, honestly, I don't think the rule change affected it. I just think nothing fucking happened, you know?
Not for lack of trying, though. He was trying to pass your guard the whole time, and you were keeping your knee shield in there. Did you feel anything out of ordinary? Was he stronger than you thought? His attacks caught you off guard or anything, or is it pretty much just normal grappling?
Well, I mean, honestly, we didn't really feel anything from each other. No one really got past each other's frames, so it's really hard to determine what happened, what could happen.
All right, sounds like maybe, well, maybe a rematch, I don't know, but either way, I would love to see you back here at Fury Pro Grappling. It's a pleasure to call your fight. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad you're here. Hurry back.
We can do it again, he
No
said.
time limit next time, maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here with Sean Brady. Congratulations on your win over what some people tout as possibly the best grappler in the world, and you know, I mean, the mic is yours. Talk to your people.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the game plan, you know. Craig's the best grappler in the world, you know. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, but I'm an MMA guy too, so I just want to use my pressure, use my top game. There wasn't too much action. He's really good, you know. I couldn't pass his guard, but I tried to control him. I played to the rules, and I got the win, you know. I came back here. I fought my whole career here for CFFC. I'm so happy to be here in front of all my fans in Philly. No matter what, Craig Jones is great, but I wasn't losing in front of my hometown. No matter what, I was leaving here with a win, and that's what I did. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for all the support in my career. I couldn't do it without you guys.
We do appreciate you. I know the crowd appreciates you. I know Paul Felder over there appreciates you. He always talks about your jiu-jitsu and how it's underrated. I mean, whether it's Fury Pro Grappling or UFC, talk to me about what you want to do next.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to, I'm ranked number 9 in the world. I'm trying to get another top 10, top 5 guy. You know, this was just fun. I got to come out here in front of my whole family, my friends, and just grapple. This don't mean shit. You know, I won, but fighting is my career, and this was fun. And thank you to Craig for taking the match, and thank you for everyone coming out. Thank you for Fury for taking over the grappling scene. I'll be back.
Thank you, Sean Brady. I look forward to your next fight. Congratulations.
Big moment there for Sean Brady, big win. I want to take it over to Jay for a reaction to the decision and just kind of what you thought of the match as a whole in this performance.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he should be incredibly happy with himself. And I'll tell you, again, Craig mentioned it too, like, I know there wasn't a guard pass, there wasn't any sweeps, there wasn't any, like, dynamic thing that happened that pointed towards Brady or towards Craig. But Brady getting in a situation like this, not getting swept, not getting his back taken, not getting, you know, his guard, like nothing like that happening, and continuously pushing forward. Man, that was really a really good performance by Sean. Again, even though nothing happened, like as far as guard pass or dynamic movements, the fact that he was able to do that against such a talented, high-level grappler is amazing.
I gotta say, man, I feel like that's a little bit of some bitter talk there from Jones, to be completely honest with you. It's like, well, you didn't do anything either, Craig. So you didn't submit him, you didn't sweep him.
Yeah,
nothing happened, but you didn't force him past your guard either.
Yeah, and that's what I think Sean should, be so happy about is, wow, that's just an amazing thing. I can't wait to see Sean in here again.
No question about it. Great win there for Sean Brady, undefeated welterweight. Great things in his UFC career. Hopefully we see him here as well. But now it's time to get to our main event of the night. 10 minutes on the clock for this 130-pound bout. Carla Esparza, the former UFC champ, who's looking to regain the belt later next year against Danielle Kelly, the fast-rising grappling superstar. It should be fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening and is scheduled for one 10-minute round and is brought to you by Thrive. Introducing first out of the green corner, weighing in at 127 pounds, representing Team Oyama, out of Irvine, California, Carla Esparza.
Inaugural UFC strawweight champ, inaugural Invicta FC strawweight champ, incredible wrestler. She has accomplished a lot. Rear naked choke is kind of her go-to in her MMA matches in terms of submissions. And big moment here for Carla Esparza, headlining Fury Pro Grappling 3. She's got a tough challenge.
And her opponent out of the red corner, weighing in at 114 pounds, representing Silver Fox BJJ, out of Belleville, New Jersey, Danielle Kelly.
Danielle Kelly, the superstar. Third time in Fury Pro Grappling, victorious both times previous. Submission win over Sofia Amarante, decision win over Catherine Milares. Important to note, now we've had no heel hooks throughout the night when UFC fighters are involved. Of course, we're thinking about fighter safety, and we want to have more events like this. But here, it's an extra level because Carla Esparza is expected to be fighting for a UFC title very soon. We're doing no leg locks at all. That was the contracted structure when it was Rose Namajunas who was here, who had to bow out. And so we'll do the same thing with Carla because, as we know, UFC President Dana White has come out and said, look, that's the fight we're going to make.
It's fair.
It is.
It's fair. She's about to be challenging for a championship in the UFC. You don't want to risk anything like that. She wants to do this. She wants to get better. She wants to be facing someone like Danielle Kelly, but
not at the risk of a UFC title shot, right?
You know, if there's anybody out there that's watching who's maybe wondering why can't be doing some of those leg attacks, it's because sometimes they're so sudden, and with fighters moving, and maybe you move the wrong way, you know, you're popping everything in your knee. And you know, when we talk about protecting the fighters, yes, this is a combat sport, but you know, they are predominantly fighters. They fight in the UFC. And as we're talking about, Esparza looking down the barrel with a title shot. So last thing we want to do is see anybody get injured. So it's, you know, we're not trying to take anything away from these people who are specialized grapplers. We're just trying to look out for the best interests of the fighters. I want to see more cards like this. You know, God forbid somebody ever got injured. The next thing you know, everything's shut down.
100%. Let's keep the fighters safe, and let's keep putting these cards together. Stacked lineup, culminating this, our main event. And it does look, there's no question about it. For Craig Jones, for Danielle Kelly, it makes it more challenging, right? I mean, they don't have a little bit of their bread and butter, but that's kind of, to me, that levels the playing field a little bit, right? We've taken strikes away from the MMA fighters. We'll take a little something away from you as well.
Yeah.
Interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and for somebody like Craig Jones, even Danielle Kelly here, it's
Look
like,
at this.
if the decision doesn't go your way because you were a bit maybe just controlled on top, and again, they get the opportunity to come here and do this, and just have another match too. It's nothing to be upset about. You know, Sean's a very strong top pressure kind of guy. Craig Jones can't roll under for legs, so yes, he's automatically at a disadvantage. So I imagine he's not too upset with that. He's just going to be like, all right, well, that guy's really strong, and if I had leg locks, could have been a little different. But
Danielle Kelly at a disadvantage right now. You see Carla Esparza has her right wrist with her right hand underneath Danielle Kelly. It's really going to test the guard and the legs of Kelly because she needs to keep Esparza here. She can't let her break her guard and pass with that arm trap like that.
Yeah, and Carla's going to be a bit stronger in these kind of positions, especially from the top with her wrestling background. She loses that arm. Nice job from Danielle to get that back.
Yeah, nice work from Kelly. You mentioned, I mean, look, Carla Esparza known for her top game, of course, the wrestling background. She does have a 13-pound weight advantage as well. She came out on scale. So even though this was a 130-pound matchup, Danielle Kelly just walks around at 114.
Oh, look at this. Trying to choke from the bottom. Is that the Ezekiel?
Ezekiel from the bottom there. We're trying to squeeze it in.
Well, hey, listen, a lot easier to do without gloves. We talked about that earlier. This is a position where this
Carla
looks
does
like
not look happy, though.
It's getting tighter and tighter.
So you're trying to create a little bit of space there and pops her head out.
She was like, no way. I'm not coming here with a title fight on the horizon and getting caught in that quite yet.
No question. A little more than 3 minutes gone. Let's bring in Jay Regabudo. What are you seeing so far in the main event, Jay?
So I'll tell you, before Danielle was known for leg locks, she was an aggressive wrestler. Wrestled, as a kid, and so she's very comfortable from positions other than leg locked. And from this closed guard, she's got it locked off. And the thing is that Carla, from this position, even when she's postured down, you saw Danielle, attacking with the Ezekiel choke. When she postures up, you see Danielle immediately trying to drag her into positions where she can, try to attack to arm locks or look to sweep here. So Carla's staying in this position. She's going to have to stay postured, but she's going to have to keep really good control of keeping Danielle's back flat on the mat.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, you can see that Carla's really having to battle to keep her wrists out of trouble, her arms out of trouble. Danielle Kelly very relaxed as she works from her back, looking for different options. Keeping that guard closed at the moment. You see wrist control there.
Greetings.
We get a headbutt.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Oy vey. That's a bad cut.
That's probably it.
That was quick, too. That cut started dripping quick.
I thought that opened up a cut on Danielle Kelly's cheek, but it was Carla's blood that was dripping from above.
Oh,
that's
no.
it.
Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah, that's you see the doctor looking at it, and he says nope. Referee waves it off, and that is super unfortunate. Danielle Kelly's happy.
Little blood smeared on her face, but she's celebrating. The cut from the slam there looked like the foreheads.
That is pretty crazy. That blood across her face. Wiped it all across her rash guard, too.
Oh, man, unfortunate ending there.
When did that happen? Was
On
it
the
when she
slam.
picked her up
On
on
the
the slam?
slam.
100% on the slam. It was like Ninja versus Jackson in Pride. The big old power bomb, and the headbutt knocks him out.
Well, an unfortunate ending to our main event. Let's take it over to Jason Lee to find and get the official result.
The referees called a halt to the bout at 4 minutes 26 seconds due to injury, declaring your winner out of the red corner, Danielle Kelly.
Well, certainly not the way Danielle Kelly would have liked to walk away with a victory, but she is victorious nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially a grappling match, right? We take all these rules, we take away all the leg locks, all this stuff to try to make this a safe match, and it still doesn't matter. It's a combat sport, it's grappling. She picked her up and they bumped heads, so let's take a look
at some
here.
of the replays here.
Obviously, Carla was able to get top control and avoid any of these submission attempts from the bottom. The Ezekiel choke from the bottom from Danielle Kelly got really tight, like dangerously tight for Carla Esparza. She wasn't happy in there. She was able to pop out. She decides to go for a slam, common especially from an MMA fighter, and whacks her head. And they clack heads. Completely accidental. She didn't want to do that. Danielle didn't do anything wrong at all. She was just part of this slam, and they bump heads, and that's it. Look, immediately.
She knew it as well.
Yeah,
you can
she's
see.
like, damn.
Well, unfortunate way to end. You can see a hematoma developing really quickly there as well. She'll point it out to you in case you didn't see it.
Hey, listen, I want to talk to both ladies, but I would rather have them get back and get the medical attention.
Agreed.
Although if this was a fight, Phil, we'd be down there chatting them up for 20 minutes.
Hey, listen, if I was Joe Rogan and both people got knocked
man,
out,
there'd be a microphone for sure.
I'd be shoving a microphone in their face. But
Joe don't care. He gets the interview, baby.
I want them to take a look at that. You know what I mean? Because I don't mess when it comes to the head stuff. I don't know. Danielle Kelly could have a concussion. And I don't play with that.
Smart move.
I think it's a good call. Unfortunate ending, man. What a great night it's been, though. 2300 Arena has been hosting some great cards with this, the best Fury professional grappling event in promotional history for sure. And a stacked lineup of UFC athletes, I thought, absolutely delivered. Guys, I mean, this was a special night. We were all looking forward to this so much, and didn't get the ending that we wanted, but the rest of the night, man, just a ton of fun.
That happens, right? It happens sometimes. Sometimes the last fight, something happens. But, I mean, the amount of competition that we had leading up to that, the caliber of men and women that we had here tonight. The place was packed. It was just a great event from beginning to end. Obviously, unfortunate ending to our main event, but that's fighting, that's grappling. These things happen.
Well, hey, listen, unfortunate result in the main event, right? But honestly, you look at the entire card that we called here tonight at the 2300 Arena, and any one of those fights could have been a main event. You know, I mean, Joe Selecki, huge win over Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
Billy Quarantino grappling with a legend in Clay Guida. You know, I mean, go down the line. We saw a lot of high-level, fun grappling here. Kevin Holland beating his chest, talking stuff, trying to jump guillotines and everything like that. It's a hell of a night. Hell of a night.
Ton of fun, guys. I hope we get a chance to do it again. We're going to have more Fury Professional Grappling, of course, but I hope we can stack it with these UFC athletes moving forward. Big stuff coming next year. This was a great way to end it. Fantastic action start to finish. You see a lot of smiles, a lot of slick little moves like that, and just such a cool night, man. I'm happy to be a part of this. Look forward to more of it, and we look forward to seeing all of you next year. It'll be a big one for CFFC and Fury Professional Grappling. Thank you, as always.
That's the wrong target.
target does not exist.
Nice to meet you.
Have you business with me? Have you business with me?
What do you want?
Refuge.
Wow.
That's a float hunt. So you're floating about 40 miles down the river up there. You fly into Fairbanks, and there's a fort that you fly in from there on a charter, and that'll be Dall sheep, caribou, and grizzly.
And this is
that's a 10-day hunt.
And this is a bow hunt as well.
That'll be a bow. Well, I'll pack. Like I've got a Smith & Wesson 44. It's a big ass gun.
Mhm.
So I'll pack that, and
For
then
grizzly.
I'll probably have a 270 too. If I can make weight with.
And are you
with that
hunting
number of
grizzly,
weapons.
or are you just avoiding them?
No, I'm hunting Dall sheep. Like
Right.
that's what I really want. That's just an adventurous. I'm not much of a trophy hunting guy, but I am an adventure guy. Like I want to go out and have an amazing adventure.
Let's
out in the
explain to
wilderness.
people why that's
So,
an adventure, because the place where
it's
these
rugged.
things live is some of the fucking sketchiest ground on earth. It's shale rock, a lot of it.
Yep.
You have to, a lot of times you're wearing crampons on your boots. You're at
Yeah.
extremely high altitude in precarious situations, these little cliff peaks.
long pack outs.
Mhm.
I'll have a caribou tag and a grizzly tag as well. So if I
So do you have a
and
grizzly
I
tag to shoot a grizzly because it's charging you, or to shoot a grizzly
no,
because you're going to
that would
eat it?
actually be to harvest and eat a grizzly.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually pretty.
Look at that.
I'm a cook.
Look at those Dall sheep.
Yeah,
on that edge.
exactly. So that is an adventure right there to be able to get to those little specks on that rock.
So hard.
So we'll be floating the river. We'll be fishing. They got Arctic char up there. A few other
Those
fish.
are beautiful fish.
Yeah. So you get
They're
some big
so
fatty
crazy
fish
looking.
out
Yeah.
of cold water. It'll be about 10 to 12 days, and then I'll just fly all the meat out and fly it home.
Now, grizzly as a meal, that's a thing that where people are hearing this and they're going, what the fuck are you talking about? And I had Donnie Vincent on the podcast,
Yeah.
he's a really interesting guy, very educated and really articulate, and really, like Ranella in a lot of ways, does a great job of explaining what hunting truly is about and the conservation
Yeah.
aspect of it. But he's a big fan of eating bear, and he's
Yeah.
always telling people, like, they're all good. Like, if you prepare it correctly, all bear is good.
Yeah, apparently the trick is to get rid of the glands early on when you're field dressing, because apparently that taints the meat. And I've never field dressed a bear, so I don't know. But Steven Ranella, though, I love his cookbooks.
Yeah.
He's close to me. He's up in Bozeman.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
But I've been trying to get him to come through Spokane and swing into my house to do a podcast. So I want to actually ask him some questions about his.
Have you connected with
He's got a
him?
new cookbook. Yeah, we've connected. We've talked a few times. I just gotta get him to come through Spokane.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's the one who got me into hunting.
Yeah. It's fun though.
Yeah.
It's a
He's a
blast.
great cook too. He really is. He really understands like so many different preparations and tries to get people to try things like osabuco, to braise the shanks and
Yeah, I love that. Now, how about spearfishing? Have you gotten into the whole spearfishing, free diving scene at all?
I was in Hawaii recently. My youngest daughter is obsessed with fishing. She fucking loves it. And we caught a bunch of yellowtail when we were in Hawaii this last trip, and now she's super hooked because, she's 8 and she's hanging onto this rod. And, sometimes I was helping her, like I was holding the rod, and she was with her 2 little arms cranking these yellowtails. And, you catch a 10-pound yellowtail when you're 8 years old. I mean, the fucking pull of that thing. Oh, my God, they're so powerful.
It's a fight. I took my boys out for steelhead.
Yeah.
And my boy Taryn, he almost got pulled into the water on the North Fork of the Clearwater. Big steelhead. I mean, those things are massive.
What is the deal?
He snagged one.
Steelhead, you're not supposed to eat them, right? You're supposed to let them go?
It depends. There's a certain... I forget the color, but there's a certain style of steelhead that you are allowed to eat. He had to throw this one back. This wasn't one of the ones that we were allowed to eat.
I don't totally understand that. I mean, I kind of understand it, but it seems to me like it's an ocean-bound rainbow trout, correct?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So why can't you eat it?
I don't know. And there's a certain variety that you actually can eat.
Well, you can eat it physically, but you're not.
No, I mean legal. I mean legally.
Yeah. But
legally.
That seems so strange to me. Is the idea to protect the population because they're in the process of breeding and you don't want to interrupt? But there's a certain mortality rate that they're accepting with catch and release. This is one of the reasons why I have an issue with that. And I've done catch and release fishing. I don't want to appear like I'm a hypocrite because it is fun. But there's a thing about it is like you're just shoving a hook in a thing's face and then releasing it.
That is why I like spearfishing, because you're underwater, you're going after the exact fish that you want.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt in your mind, I'm gonna shoot that fish, and you're not wondering what's gonna bite the hook.
Right.
Like whether it's gonna be a legal one or an illegal one. Regardless of whether you get a fish, it's amazing. You're happy. You see the coral. You're getting, you're going down and up. There's all like if you're into fitness, the cold thermogenesis and the breath hold and the spleen compression and the red blood cell production. So I mean, it's an amazing workout. It's just fun. It's zen.
Yeah, they wouldn't let my daughter do it though. She was too young. They said you have to be 13. So we
to
decided
spearfish.
to spearfish. She wanted
she could
to,
probably
though.
do like shallow water with a sling, and that's the way to do it. Is you want to start offshore. 8 to 15 feet of water. You want an easy sling. A lot of people think spearfishing and they think of like the big roller guns that you gotta like put the handle against your chest and pull back.
Right.
It's very difficult, and then you gotta dive to depths. For if you're going after tuna, you gotta be able to go like 30 plus feet, and you have a floater, and it's a very involved process. But if you're just like in frickin' Hawaii and you've got a sling and a good spot and some coral and some good fins, and you can just basically swim away. I'll tie a stringer around my waist and put a little knife on my belt, and you can just go out there and string 4 or 5 fish, and it's an easy day. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's not fishing. You call it spearfishing, but you're basically hunting underwater.
You're hunting underwater. Yeah. They even have I haven't done this yet, but maybe you've seen these underwater bows. Where you can shoot a bow at the fish.
Yeah,
it's a bow. I don't know if they call it bow fishing or what, but have you seen this?
I've seen something like it, well, I know there's a lot of bow fishing that people do. They're shooting down at like gar, alligator gar in particular. That's a big one that they use.
Yeah,
have you ever eaten
a gar? That as well. No.
It's supposed to be really good smoked.
Really?
It's such a weird looking animal. It almost seems like, in my mind, it almost feels like you shouldn't shoot it because it's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
It's like, keep it alive, because they really haven't changed in millions of years.
Yeah.
Such a freaky looking
They're
fish.
fun to prepare, though. I do a fish feed after a spearfish. You're all cold. You're hungry. Last one I did, we had parrotfish down in Hawaii, stuffed with avocado and mango, coconut oil. Baked it in the oven with macadamia nut, like encrusted macadamia nut.
Parrotfish are the ones that are eating the coral and shitting out white sand.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you know that
you've watched more nature TV than I have?
That's what white sand is. It's shit.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not. It's like
Really?
these fish eat coral, chew it up, and shit out the white sand.
So like a giant white sand beach like Clearwater, Florida,
Shit.
that's all fish
Yeah.
shit?
Parrot fish poop makes beautiful beaches. There you go.
Huh.
There's the article.
I wonder if it's
Yeah.
good for your microbiome.
I don't know.
Because you're
but
out on bacteria.
These motherfuckers are out there just eating rocks.
That's a lot of shit.
It's a lot of
It's
shit.
a lot of parrotfish over a very long period of time.
Millions
taking
and
a lot of
millions of
shits.
years. Like here you
Wow.
go. You can see them
Yeah.
do it. They're chewing on the coral. They bang it out. They have like a beak, essentially. That's why they call them parrotfish. They smash down that coral, and then all that white around them is they're just basically swimming around their own shit.
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Very strange.
I dig that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you something. Metformin.
Yeah.
You started talking about with David.
Yes.
David Sinclair. You going to take that?
Yes.
Metformin?
Maybe. I don't know. It seems weird because that one's a drug.
It's like the darling of the anti-aging industry.
Right.
You know, it's like a nickel a pop, and it inhibits mTOR to a certain extent. But the big deal with that is glycemic variability, reduced risk of chronic disease. But there's a lot of side effects of that. That's why
Really?
I wanted to mention that to you.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean,
he
you
was
get-
saying that there's none.
No, there's lactic acidosis, and it inhibits the electron transport chain in the mitochondria, which is fine if you want to downregulate metabolism and live a long time, but not if you're an athlete. Right? Like you don't want to inhibit mitochondrial respiration necessarily. Vitamin B12 deficiencies, like it's derived from French roux, and physicians for hundreds of years been using it, but in limited quantities because it induces nausea. Right? So you get gastrointestinal disturbances. My take on metformin, because I've been looking over the past year into a lot of these anti-aging compounds that people are now using or talking about using, like rapamycin and metformin and NAD and a lot of these sirtuin precursors. But metformin and rapamycin, actually, for different reasons, because that's an immune system suppressor, are two that I don't think I would ever take.
Really?
Because with metformin, there are a variety of natural compounds that reduce blood glucose and improve insulin sensitivity in the absence of that, like berberine, curcumin, apple cider vinegar, Ceylon cinnamon, bitter melon extract.
And you think
Like
all those things are mimicking what metformin is capable of doing?
I think so. I'm not wearing it right now, but usually I wear a Dexcom G6. It's a continuous blood glucose monitor. It actually fell off yesterday when I was doing that exercise.
That's one of those
bike
ones you
thing,
see
so-
diabetics wear. They stick it to their
it
body.
sends my blood glucose to my cell phone. I learned all sorts of interesting things, like my blood glucose would spike in the mornings, like clockwork, about 8 a.m. every morning. And I was trying to figure out, like, why is my blood glucose going to 120, 130 every single morning? Well, I'd have a cup of coffee in the morning, and even though I don't put cream or sugar in my coffee, I just drink straight up black coffee. Coffee actually causes your liver to engage in something called glycogenolysis. So you actually release glucose into the bloodstream, which is a good thing. That's why you drink coffee. You want that cortisol release, that glucose hit. You know, maybe you want the flavor and the antioxidants too. I would get a blood glucose response from coffee. Another one that surprised me was green beans. Right? You talk about legumes, you talk about slow release carbohydrates, and it falls into that category, but my blood glucose would go up whenever I'd have green beans. So I actually got a food allergy test through this company called Cyrex. They do like a really good food allergy test that doesn't give you this big laundry list of false positives like there's like the ELISA and the ALCAT test, like these skin prick tests. You just get like a very small number of foods that you're actually allergic to. Because a lot of these other tests, they'll show a bunch of antibodies to food, but it's antibodies to food because you're eating that food. All right, so many people will be like, dude, I'm allergic to eggs. I got a test I'm allergic to eggs, and I'm depressed because that was a big staple in my diet. Well, it's only showing that you're allergic to them because they're a staple in your diet, because you're eating a lot of eggs, and you're winding up with a lot of those egg proteins in your bloodstream. But this Cyrex
Wait a minute,
panel...
explain that.
So basically, if you're eating a lot of eggs, you actually have a lot of egg proteins circulating in your bloodstream. And if you get a food panel, you actually can very readily produce, like a food allergy panel, you produce antibodies to the egg protein, and they say that you're allergic to the egg protein when in fact you just have a lot of egg proteins in your system because you've been eating a lot of eggs. And sometimes they'll even test the white blood cell reaction to a raw egg, not a cooked egg. Right, and so your white blood cells are going to react more readily to a raw egg versus cooked egg, or raw chicken versus cooked chicken. I don't think a lot of these food allergy panels are that accurate for that reason. Like, I think they're just giving you a laundry list of foods that you may or may not be allergic to. But this one it's called Cyrex. I have no financial affiliation or anything like that with this company, but I just think they do a good job with their testing. They you got to order it through a physician. And I ordered this test, and I was allergic to almost nothing. Like, barely anything would spike for me. Like a kind of like a moderate spike for gluten. Green beans though were off the chart, off the chart. So that continuous blood glucose monitor was actually able to tell me that I was eating something that my sympathetic nervous system was responding to. I was going to fight and flight mode, releasing a bunch of glucose, and I never would have really known that or gotten a clue about that unless I was wearing one of these continuous blood glucose monitors. I'm not going to wear it my whole life, but I'm going to wear it. My plan is to wear it for a year to just learn a lot about the foods that I usually eat, what they do to my body, what certain workouts do, what certain supplements do. But returning to metformin, I started to use a lot of these things like berberine, like curcumin. You can do a shot of apple cider vinegar before a meal. Take a couple of teaspoons of Ceylon cinnamon in your smoothie. And these things actually have an effect on blood glucose that mimics what you're trying to get when you take metformin, but without
that's all
the side
that
effects.
metformin's doing is just limiting blood glucose?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, it does inhibit mTOR a little bit. Right, so you get that mTOR inhibition, but you can inhibit mTOR through like calorie restriction and fasting done regularly, or like a compressed feeding window.
I should have had you here yesterday.
Yes, there's.
I should have had you here to talk to David Sinclair.
Well, I want to finish listening to that interview too, because he's a very smart guy. But I'm not enamored with metformin.
Well,
I
he's
think
not
that there
an
are
athlete.
better, more natural alternatives.
He's not an athlete. He barely works out.
And
he
a lot
works out a little bit. He does like a little bit of a run, a little bit of lifting, but you can tell he's not a guy who's really exerting himself rigorously.
To me, I want the marriage of performance and longevity.
Yes.
Right? I don't want to live a
agree.
long time if I can't kick ass and
Exactly.
feel good. I don't want to be cold and hungry and libido-less and live till I'm 150. Like
Yes.
I want to, even if that means I'm going to live till I'm 145 instead of 150, right? Because I've got more muscle mass or whatever.
Right.
Like I want to feel good. So whenever I'm looking at a compound like that, I'm questioning whether or not it's the best way to go if it's going to inhibit my actual performance.
Right, his focus
especially if there's
is
natural
so-
alternatives.
He's so focused on longevity.
Yeah, but you can say that about a lot of these things. I mean, like cryotherapy chambers, right? I mean, you look at the Cherokee Native American tribe would dip their babies in icy cold water until they were like 2 years old. Or there's the viral video footage of the Siberian school children. I don't know if you've seen this one. They rush out into the snow during recess in their underpants, and they dump cold water on themselves and run around in the snow and then come back inside. And in Iceland, based on some of the research that was done a few decades ago on immune system, they let their babies sleep outside in like sub-zero temperatures in strollers. Yeah.
What?
The Russians, the Finnish, the Eastern Europeans,
They're trying to kill their kids.
They've all got their cryotherapy, like the Baltic Sea. You go back and forth. When I go to Finland, they've got the Men's Finnish Sauna Society. There's no cryotherapy chambers. It's just old school saunas. Then you go jump in the sea and you dry yourself off in the air. Then you go back in the sauna. So, a lot of these things, there's natural alternatives. And I get flack a lot of the time because I'm one of these so-called biohackers, right? I have like the laser lights in my office that I shine on my balls, and I've got like the lights that go in your ears, and I've got the stem cells and IVs and injections. But I always want to make sure people know that you go after the natural stuff first. Like natural ways to get cold, natural ways to get hot. If you're going to buy some expensive pulsed electromagnetic field mat, you sure as hell better be going outside barefoot, right? Like, or camping or sleeping outside, or learning how to earth and ground in a more natural way.
What is involved in earthing and grounding? Is there a real provable effect?
Yeah, there is research, especially in terms of a reduction in inflammation and improvement in joint comfort. That's a very interesting one. And then when you take these same frequencies, so the Earth naturally emits somewhere in the range of about 3 to 100 hertz electromagnetic frequencies, like way lower than the million hertz frequencies you're getting when you hold your cell phone up to your ear. But we're walking around on basically a giant electrical mat. Like there's radiation radiation, electromagnetic frequencies released by Earth. And the idea is that these fancy devices now, these mats that you can sleep on or do therapy on, there's big, like I've got one in my basement that just packs a punch. Like it was used in the racehorsing industry for a long time. It's called a pulse sensors, and you lay on that thing and it just like vibrates your whole body.
What is it doing?
It reduces inflammation. You think of it like exercise for your cells. It's opening and closing the cell membrane, so you're getting this blood flow. It's called a pulse sensors. It's like a giant table.
Pulse sensors?
It's got different coils. Yeah. It's pulse sensors is the name of the company that makes
Centers or sensors?
Sensors. But it's got like attachments, like coils and pads that you can attach to your knee or attach to like a bum shoulder or whatever. Or I'll just sit in there and work on my computer. I get a massage on it every week for a couple of hours. So it's taking the same frequencies you get from the Earth and just magnifying those, just delivering them in a more concentrated manner. The same thing with like an infrared light panel. I don't know if you've seen these before. They deliver near infrared, far infrared, red light. People will strip off their clothes and stand in front of these things to get more collagen production. Or, in the same way that light that I was talking about for your head can enhance mitochondrial activity in neural tissue, your balls are basically little eyes. They have photoreceptors on them. They respond to light. You can actually increase mitochondrial activity in the testicles, the Leydig cells in the testes, to increase testosterone or increase sperm production.
So you shoot a light in your balls and
the idea is
grow more test?
You'd go outside and you'd sunbathe nude, or you'd use one of these lights and just stand in front. Like I look like an idiot at work, but this is what I do. I've got a light panel in front of me, right? I'm at a standing desk. I work at a standing desk. I've got a light panel behind me. And every day for 20 minutes, I just take my clothes off at work and I stand sandwiched in between these light panels, and it basically blasts me with this red light. But I also go out in the sun, right? Like if I've got the option to do that versus get outside into the sunlight, I go out into the sunlight. If I've got the option to take berberine and bitter melon extract instead of metformin, I'd rather take the berberine and bitter melon extract. So I think you should strip stuff down and go as natural as possible. And then once you step up to the more advanced, anti-aging strategies or biohacking strategies or what have you, you still have to look at those with a skeptical eye and ask yourself whether or not those are really safe, or if they have side effects that might, in many cases, limit your physical performance.
And why do you prefer a standing desk?
Well, the whole sitting is the new smoking thing I disagree with. I think sitting is just fine. Like, it feels natural to sit. It doesn't feel like you're breaking some rule of the human body to sit down. Like, we're sitting down right now, it feels pretty good. The problem with sitting is that is the posture most people are adopting for 8 hours per day, right? The best position to be in when you're working would be whatever position you're not in at the moment. Same, when you look at weight training, this would not apply to hypertrophy, which would dictate that you want to hit a muscle over and over again using the same angle with increasingly difficult loads. But for metabolic training, you would want to actually throw curveballs at your body, right? The best workout, therefore, would be the one that you're not doing right now if your goal was just to limit any type of metabolic efficiency. So the idea with the standing desk is I have that to give me yet another position to be in during the day. So I've got a Trueform treadmill, and I had Trueform modify it to take the dashboard off. So I've got that in front of my standing workstation, and then I've got one of these balance boards that I can stand on, and I've got like a stool that I can lean against. So I've got all these different positions that I can be in during the day, and then I've got that Pulse Center's chair in my office that I can go and sit in. So every 25 minutes, I'll just shift to a different position. And my stand-up desk is a hand crank stand-up desk, so I can crank it up and down if I do want to sit at my desk. And it just works. It's the idea of hacking your environment, of equipping your environment to be in as many different positions as possible. So I think that's the key to feeling good at work, especially when you're stuck indoors.
Do you believe in one of those? Have you seen one of those? You stand at your standing desk on this variable sort of surface. Have you seen those things where it's like
a topographical mat?
Yeah, it's weird. It's got
There's
a bunch of
those.
surfaces.
There's one called a Topo. The one, like in our Boulder offices for my company, we've got the stand-up desks that go up. You push a button and they go up and down. But then what we have is just scattered around the office. A few of those mats. We've got some of the, I don't know if you've seen these fluid stance things. They're kind of like skateboards that you stand on top of, but they're not as gnarly as a balance board, so you can still focus while you're standing on top of it. We've got some different stools, different chairs that will go up or down. So again, like even if you're in a corporate office, it surprises me how many people in their corporate offices don't equip their employees just to be able to move during the day.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah,
and the most people aren't using ergonomic chairs either.
Yeah. What do you use as your main chair for an ergonomic chair?
These chairs that we have
That's
here.
what we're sitting in, right? What am I sitting in right now?
Capisco. It's by a company
I feel like I'm not
Fully.
using it to its full capacity.
It's
got
excellent.
These, what's the purpose of the way that this is shaped? The back of this here.
You can kind of lean on it in a weird way. Put your elbows on it if you like, but it encourages you to have an upright posture.
I've got this thing called a Mogo upright. It's a stool. And I can even travel with it because it will compress. It weighs about 2 pounds, and you can actually lean against that and get into some different positions on that one.
What is that company that sent us something? They have one that's basically almost like it's on a spring, where you kind of have to balance yourself out. You have to activate your core just to be.
I saw one of those at a chiropractic event once. It's like kind of makes you squeeze your pelvis while you're in the chair. But there's this dude in Finland. He's got a company called Sally, Sally. He used to ride horses, and he decided to start making chairs that would get him into the same upright position that he'd be in when he was riding a horse.
Saddle chair.
Yeah, it's a saddle chair.
There's one in another room here somewhere.
I have one of those too. That's up
one.
at my kitchen table.
That shit is so uncomfortable though.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, it feels like your balls are sandwiched in between these two planks.
I think the armrests on these are so you can spin it around if you want to sit like AC Slater style at the you know
really?
what I mean? Yeah.
AC Slater.
What's AC Slater style?
It's a chair backwards.
Oh, really?
That's AC Slater
That
style?
is in my head. That is for sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, those
I don't know how
saddle
you guys think of
chairs,
it.
they've got like little Allen keys that come with them that you can adjust to your pelvic width.
No, I mean it fits my width. It's just weird.
Maybe all those
these are
fat
superior.
injections you've been doing just give
How
you
dare
that
you.
big ass wide pelvis.
How dare you? I don't do
sagging
that.
on your
How
chair.
dare you? That was my main chair for a long time, the saddle
Really?
chair. But then when I started using these Capisco chairs, it's way more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, if you're
And-
sitting for a long time.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just, it's easy. And I have no back pain. When I use a regular office chair and I sit for long periods of time, I get that center back pain from just poor posture, just sitting in a curved stance or a curved position.
What about a treadmill desk? You tried one of those?
No.
See, I can't do a lot on the treadmill desk production-wise. But if I'm ever if somebody's interviewing me like on Skype on a podcast, or I'm doing a consult call with somebody, reviewing blood work or something like that, I'll be walking on my treadmill, and then I've got my microphone in front of me, and I have this program called Dragon Dictation. And Dragon Dictation allows me to talk via like a headset, and then it'll type the words on the screen.
I used to use that a long time ago, but apparently
it's pretty accurate.
Moved leaps and bounds.
It's called training your dragon. You get the software that tells you to train your dragon. And so you say all these words, you read all these paragraphs, and it learns to identify your phrasing and the volume of your voice, and it gets more accurate. But it's way better than the built-in Apple, whatever it's called, voice recognition software.
Yeah.
So it works, and I like that because then I can just walk. I can talk emails. I can talk with people. So there's like 3 or 4 different things that I do at work that I will walk during.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I write when I'm just completely alone and quiet, staring at a computer because I want to spend time on each individual word and really concentrate on what the fuck I'm saying. Because most of the time I'm writing stand-up, so I need to bounce it back and forth, and to talk it out is not really the right strategy.
Yeah. I'm working on a book right now, and what I've found is, for me, I have to have a triggered environment, like a place in my house that when I go to that place, that's the place where your mind says, okay, this is the writing spot. For me, it's this chair in the corner of the living room outside of my office. As soon as I get into that thing, it's like writing mode.
Right.
And I just go Pomodoro. I'll write for 25 minutes, get up, take a 5-minute break, come back. But that's how I do it. 'Cause I just have like an environment to write in.
Yeah, an environment and a good time, like a specific time to write is good too. Like where hey, now it's X amount, it's X time. That's when I write.
Yeah. That's the idea behind all this new research they're doing on morningness, eveningness, chronotypes, different people being night owls versus morning larks.
Yeah.
Even there was it was a study I was looking at yesterday about the response to like an inflammatory stressor. I don't remember what the stressor was, but like when a morning type is stressed out in the morning, they handle it better than when they're stressed out in the evening, and vice versa. And it's very interesting, this research on chronotypes. I like the idea of just being able to shift your circadian rhythm, because I travel a lot. Like, I haven't been home in 17 days. I've got 2 more days on the road, and then I'll be home. But when I'm going east to west or west to east, I use light a lot to reset my circadian biology. They're called Zeitgebers, right? Like, these are cues that regulate your circadian biology. So, like, eating is one. You want to wait to eat until it's actual meal time in whatever area of the world that you're traveling to. So if you arrive in whatever, New York City from California at 3 p.m., you don't want to eat a bite of food until like 7 p.m. when it's actual dinner, because that helps to regulate your circadian rhythm. Movement is another one. Like, you want to get outside, go for a walk, go for a swim, go hit the gym.
I found that
whatever.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Whenever I travel,
Yeah.
the first thing I do is I check in and I go right to the gym.
Yeah. I go outside. I take off my shoes and go outside.
That's good too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but for me, like, a rigorous workout makes all the difference in the world in terms of like how I actually feel. Especially
Yeah.
when if I'm training, if I'm traveling a lot and doing shows, and I go. I mean, you don't want to. You get to a hotel room, you just want to lay down and
Yeah.
relax.
You have to defy that urge.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
go straight to the gym.
Yeah, that's what I find. If you shut up the inner bitch and make it through the first 2 minutes,
Exactly.
you're good to go.
Yep.
But light is the biggie.
Mhm.
Light is the biggie. So I've got these buds that make light that go in my ears.
You make light into your ear.
You have photoreceptors in your ears.
Really?
You have photoreceptors all over your body. That's why if you wear a sleep mask to go to bed, you still have to make the room dark because you have photoreceptors on your skin. I've got the one that I was talking about that I wear on my head. That one's called a V light. The one that goes in your ears is called a human charger, and then I've got the one that goes in the eyes. That one's called a retimer, and that one makes like this greenish blue light that's not damaging to your retina, but that just blasts your entire skull with light. So I've got light on my eyes, light on my ears, and light on my head, and I'll flip those lights on back in front of the body, and that's my home setup to get my circadian rhythm restored. So what I do is, if I've been back east, right, and my body at 4 a.m. Pacific time is telling me it's 7 a.m., because I'm on Eastern time. My circadian clock is on Eastern time. What I do is I wake up. I'm not going to lay in bed for 3 hours waiting until the time when I actually do want to get up. What I do is I wake up, I get out of bed, and I put on those blue light blocking glasses, the ones that you're supposed to wear at night, right? Like the yellowish orange lenses. But I block all light. So I'm basically just walking around in pretty dim setting in my house. I'll make coffee sometimes, or have some water, stretch out, get some work done. But I've got the light blocked the whole time. And then whenever the time rolls around, when I actually want to start waking up, right? Let's say I'm like 6 a.m. I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. I want to wake up at 6 a.m. Then I'll go down to my office and I'll put on the eye thing, the ear thing, the head thing, the light in front of
You
me,
got a picture of you like
the light
this?
behind me.
I need to see a photo.
I've done it on an IG story before. And then you just blast yourself for like 20 minutes. And if I do that for 2 or 3 days, like, my circadian rhythm is just right back on time. Right back on time. And I fall asleep when I'm supposed to fall asleep. I go to bed at like 10 p.m. I get up about 6 a.m. And that's my cycle every day. But I just blast myself with light when I get home.
For me, lack of food is a good one. Make sure you use some sort of fasting in order, to regulate everything when you're traveling, and then exercise. Those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
And then eating after rigorous training puts everything sort of back into perspective.
How do you fast? What's your fasting protocol?
16 hours every night.
Every single night?
No, 1 or 2 nights a week I'll fuck off.
What about like longer fasts during the
I
year?
don't. I haven't.
At all?
No, I haven't done that.
I started doing it.
Yeah?
I started it last year. So my protocol now is 12 to 16 hours of intermittent fast every day. Christmas, Thanksgiving, as soon as I stop eating, I'm competitive. I'll set my watch. If I finish eating at 8 p.m., I don't eat again until 8 a.m. If I finish eating at midnight, then I don't eat again until, if I get up at midnight for a snack, I won't eat again until lunch, at least 12 p.m. So I do that every day. And then what I started doing, once Walter Longo came out with his research on the longevity diet and this whole idea of a fasting mimicking diet, inducing cellular autophagy and enhancing longevity to the same extent as if you were just do like a pure water fast or stop eating. So what you do is on a quarterly basis 4 times a year, you restrict the normal amount of calories that you would eat to 40% of what you normally eat. So maybe you're just dropping one meal, or for every meal that you eat, you're eating a little bit less. And you do this for 5 days on a quarterly basis. I started doing that last year, and I just have like this stew that I make with split mung beans and basmati rice, and it's called khichdi. It's an Indian Ayurvedic cleansing stew. Dr. Longo's company, El Nutra, sends out these kits called Prolon kits that are all done for you. But I just wanted to make my own stew. That's easy for me. I put a little coconut yogurt on it, and that's just breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me for 5 days in a row. It's almost like a seasonal cleaning. So you do that 4 times a year, and then the only other thing that I do is 1 or 2 times a month, I try to go from Saturday dinner to Sunday dinner without eating. So it's almost a 24-hour fast. And with those 3 things, 12 to 16-hour intermittent fast, the quarterly 5-day like modified fast, and then the 24-hour fast 1 to 2 times a month, that's sustainable for me. I could still perform. I could still work out. I think that's the way to go.
How do you feel when you do that 24-hour fast? Does it
Pretty
affect
good.
your workouts?
About 2 p.m. you get hungry. About 2 p.m. in the afternoon on Sunday. Because what I'll do is I'll have dinner on Saturday, and then I'll wait the whole day, and then I'll have a big Sunday dinner. And honestly, it doesn't affect